qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter.
Celebrate 4th of July savings happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Get a Whirlpool fridge with easy reach zone to keep tall items organized and accessible. And upgrade to a washer-dryer tower with UV clean technology to reduce bacteria in the wash without fading fabrics. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th to July 8th, U.S. only. See store online for details.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I don't know, Squirrel. There are so many ways to go at this. We could go at it through the Ponzi scheme pyramid fraud of entitlements. The Cloward pivot overwhelmed the system to backdoor nationalize it. We could focus on the fact that 24.7 million people came here and followed our immigration laws the right way and paid the lawyer and took the tests. Or we could focus on what Democrat scumbags really do. The government used its power to protect thieving frauds again. Cue up the song Anchor Baby, Squirrel. It's going to be top of the one-number chart. You mark my words in the next 10 days. We'll discuss that and so much more after Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom with an extreme heat warning in place for much of northern Illinois. Mayor Brandon Johnson telling everyone to stay cool and check on the neighbor.
OEMC and the National Weather Service will work closely together this week, continuing their efforts to share alerts and resources.
Officials say there are 6 cooling centers in the city, more across the heavily populated suburbs. The Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship, but the court today is with the White House striking down some campaign finance rules challenged by the vice president. And the court upholds bans on transgender athletes in girls' and women's sports in Idaho and West Virginia. IWF Ambassador Peyton McNabb.
There's a lot of eyes on this. Across the country, there's families, there's parents, and there's coaches. And I'm just so thankful that they get to understand that they are protected.
The field of candidates for Chicago mayor growing. Illinois Congressman Mike Quigley throwing his hat into the race.
This is going to be the last job. This is it. The only thing I ever want to do is to help this city that I love so much.
The U.S. representative joins Illinois Comptroller Susana Mendoza and former CHA board chairman Matthew Brewer and many others in the race. Cubs take on the Padres tonight. White Sox battle the Orioles. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Liz Clayman, and this is the Fox Business Report. Stocks ending the last trading day of the month, quarter, and first half of the year higher, with the Dow posting its 19th record close of the year, while the Nasdaq and S&P 500 notched their best quarter in 6 years. Tech and industrials were the best performing sectors, while healthcare lagged. Big Pharma was under pressure today after U.S. lawmakers opened national security investigations into whether 5 major pharmaceutical companies, including Merck and AbbVie, were involved in clinical trials conducted in China. Oil prices edged lower, with West Texas Intermediate crude at $70 a barrel. The Dow winners Caterpillar, Apple, and Nvidia. The Dow decliners Goldman Sachs, Honeywell Technologies, and Johnson & Johnson. The Dow up 136 points. The Nasdaq higher by 394. S&P 500 up 59. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Scott Jennings sees them just wanting more money.
It is amusing to me that people like Ro Khanna, who spend literally trillions of your dollars every year, are now telling us that if we could just spend a few $100 billion more, all hunger, all health care, all everything could be solved.
The Scott Jennings Show. Weekdays at noon, right before Hugh Hewitt at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, which is one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, or just daily living. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula, no prescription, no masking of symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. My pain almost stopped me. My hands were so bad I couldn't even button my own shirt. I couldn't paint, I couldn't write. And Tanya was the one who told me, I'm not listening to you whine anymore unless you try everything. Try Relief Factor. I did. It helped me get my life back. As America celebrates her 250 years of independence, give yourself the chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, Relief Factor is offering a special patriotic price at $17.76, so you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. $17.76, 3-week quick starts ready for you right now. Relief Factor, because freedom just feels better without pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com. 800, the number 4, relief.
Did you know that undiagnosed or untreated diabetes and hypertension can cause kidney failure? The National Kidney Foundation of Illinois has the nation's only traveling kidney screening program, the Kidney Mobile. The Kidney Mobile is offering free diabetes, blood pressure, and kidney disease screenings in your area. For more information, visit kidneymobile.org. Early detection can prevent kidney failure. Take charge of your health and get screened.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Trouble-free conditions on the outbound Edens, the Kennedy outbound up to 45 minutes out to O'Hare from downtown, and the inbound Eisenhower crews cleaning up an accident which was near Racine in the right lane. It's heavy inbound at 1 hour, back out an hour and 5. Stevenson going out. That is an hour as well after 3:55. Dan Ryan downtown to 95th. 30 minutes, slowing down in the Express 35th to Marquette. Heavy along DuSable Lakeshore Drive, south and north. Same for the Tri-State. Jane Addams still in pretty good shape. The Reagan is holding its own, and 355 is okay in both directions. This report is a service of the AM 560 store. Order t-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands, including Prof University and the Shaun Thompson Show, when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear, very warm and humid with a low of 77. Tomorrow, Wednesday, expect very hot and humid conditions with hazy sunshine. It'll be breezy in the afternoon. The high will reach 97 degrees. Wednesday night will be clear, very warm and humid with a low of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
Once an immigrant, held a green card for 5 continuous years or 3 years if married to U.S. citizen. They were eligible to apply for citizenship independently. They didn't need sponsorship anymore. That has been since the 50s. And 24.7 million people took advantage of our laws, and they became citizens. And they, more often than not, make up the greatest workers, the greatest patriots, and the greatest people who take advantage of the American dream known to America. No question about it. So who doesn't come here and take advantage of the legal way to come here? the scumbag. Yeah, you heard me. Scumbag who decides to do it illegally. And now the American Supreme Court said, that's all right. Take the money, honey. Take it and run. Because they're part of the Leviathan, of the Ponzi scheme of entitlements that Cloward and Piven dreamt of to overwhelm the system in order to take control and backdoor nationalize life.
But my feeling is they should open it, the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying, in America.
That's Louis C.K. Never funny, just a jagoff. And Louis C.K. exposed what the real ideology is of the left. And you know who the left is? Every lawyer, big fracking deal. Every political clout suck on Supreme Court justice who voted against law in America. Cue the music, squirrel.
Anchor baby, that's how folks in the GOP see me. And I'm awful bad girl.
Gonna go to number one by Thursday.
Mama plot to be here to give me birthright. Since I'm an anchor baby, my 54 first cousins come to you. But clean your homes and feed your swanker babies. But get free stuff to give me tonight.
It's like Christmas in almost July. And I'll tell you why. You see, there was a time when Democrats ran against what the Supreme Court justice just did. Dianne Feinstein, back in 1993, when she could form a sentence, comb her own hair.
Should you have a system where people can come to this country, even if they're well-to-do, get on Medicaid and give birth to a baby and then go back? The answer is no. And we know that Medicaid laws are being used and abused to do just this in the state of California.
Now take all that we know about the Somalian pirates, which stole more money in entitlements, American entitlements, than Somalia's entire GDP. They stole more money and brought half of it back, if not more, to that dunghole country. And that's the game. That's exactly what the Supreme Court justice just said is absolutely legal. And everybody with an IQ knows it. Now, granted, there will be the rest of the socialist, Marxist, communist, Democrat, worthless welfare roaches that could care less, because this just means more money for them and more fraud for them. And when it comes to the politicians, well, now, they just use that head count to lie and pretend they balance a budget in Illinois or New York or California, because they don't do it with math. They do it with people, which is why all the bust-out bankrupt cities and states nullified immigration law decades ago. They called themselves sanctuary cities and states, which was the beginning of the cold Civil War, which is right now the middle, if not the end, before it goes hot. Because sooner or later, people are going to realize, I'm tired of being lied to by intellectual midgets who not only make fun of what made us the youngest and the richest and the highest quality of life country in the world, but used to steal their Netflix passcode from their mother.
After long nights and painstaking work, we presented an executive budget that brought that $12 billion gap down to zero. We balanced the budget without asking working New Yorkers to shoulder the burden once again. We balanced the budget without slashing the services that New Yorkers rely on, the cultural institutions and public transportation that connect people to the city and to one another. And we balanced the budget by governing with a fiscal responsibility that has been absent for far too long from City Hall. We worked closely with Governor Hochul and our partners in both Albany and here at the City Council. And we raised taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers.
First of all, you know what that means when he says he met with the Botox bimbo? Drunk on Merlot, antidepressants, and Botox shot right into her lips, which are giant now. Because Albany, the state, agreed to float this bust-out fraud who used to have to steal his mother's Netflix password. That's why. Once again, fraud. How do they do it? Because they use the population that they've been stealing money, really since COVID, on steroids. Like every other Democrat area, which has been stealing money in the name of entitlements and giving that money in the name of illegal aliens.
Instead of taking more from those with the least. Throughout this process, I've been reminded of the words of the Austrian economist, Friedrich Hayek.
It's von Hayek. Don't even say his name. Global intifada scumbag Marxist pig.
If socialists understood economics, they wouldn't be socialists. If these past months have shown us anything, it is that socialists not only understand economics just as well as the capitalists who came before, but that we can solve their years of mismanagement through an embrace of our principles. There is nothing fiscally responsible about balancing the budget on the backs of working people. Today, 6 weeks after presenting our executive budget, I am proud to stand alongside Speaker Menon and the City Council to announce that we have successfully negotiated an agreement on a final adopted budget.
All fraud, lies, and tax increases for Americans who follow all the rules, own the real estate, and have their real name on every bill that comes into the House. Because what this fraud, Democrat, communist, Marxist traitor, what he doesn't tell you is the day before, everybody gets their water bill, electricity, and everything else increased.
On July 1st, New York City will raise water and sewer rates another 6%. All right, 6% may not sound too crazy, but here's why it's a problem. This isn't the first or second increase. In fact, this is the 6th straight increase in 5 years. Last year's increase was 8.5%, and in just a few weeks, another 6%. In the past 5 years alone, New York City's water and sewer rates will have increased 35%.
Say that again.
You know where it's the same? In Shirakistan, in L.A., in New Jersey, in Philly, wherever these Democrat frauds pretend to govern, they just rape and rob the backs of the honest American in the name of utopia. And who gets the money? The illegal alien. And all they need are more names like every other Ponzi pyramid scheme in history. That's all they're running.
As the name suggests, a pyramid scheme is an investment scam which revolves around current investors receiving money by recruiting new members. The new members will receive money by recruiting other people, and so on. Let's assume Peter starts a pyramid scheme where the cost of being a member is $100 per month. He promises to pay people $90 monthly for each person they get to join and keeps $10. Paul and George pay Peter directly and join. Therefore, Peter now makes $200 per month. Paul then invites Rachel and Sarah, whereas George invites Bill and Jim. Peter now makes $240 per month, whereas Paul and George make $180 monthly, but are left with...
Think about that in the name of all the entitlements that the Somalian mafia really exposed beyond the shadow of a doubt how every entitlement program is stole by temporary protected status, illegal aliens, and some wretched Democrat scumbags.
I want to follow up on a story we started covering on Friday night. It was of the surprise arrest in Somalia, one of the top suspects in the $300 million Feeding Our Future meal fraud case. Lou broke down today how rare it is for something like this in a country that has no treaties for cooperating with the United States.
In the trial of Amy Bach, the former executive director of Feeding Our Future, the evidence showed that she controlled the money and decided who else got to take part in the $300 million fraud scheme. The evidence in Bach's trial also showed Abdi Kerm Idle was the key recruiter, an employee of hers who found potential fraud participants.
And guess who he's tied to at every campaign fundraiser? Guess who? Not just the broad with the laundry on her head. Governor Stupid Face. He's tied to every Democrat. And the numbers are in the billions, not hundreds of millions anymore.
Omar is under scrutiny yet again over her alleged connections to Somali-based individuals arrested for fraud. The most recent individual was found in Somalia after being on the run for 4 years. He was allegedly a central figure in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme that stole close to $300 million in COVID-19 pandemic relief programs. The suspect allegedly exchanged emails with convicted ringleader Amy Bach that had the subject line Ilhan's office. Congresswoman Omar continues to deny all wrongdoing.
Really? Deny all wrongdoing? You know who else denied all wrongdoing? Swalwell, before the evidence was overwhelming. And his little twerp friend, his little sissy, Gallego, whatever, Chicago communist scumbag, who's in photographs. He denied it too. Well, here's some good news. He got caught with his hand in the cookie jar, but who's going to do anything about it? The government, we give them oversight on themselves, outside of just the Supreme Court.
Senate Ethics Committee has dismissed a complaint against Democratic Senator Ruben Gallego over allegations of campaign finance violations and inappropriate sexual conduct. The Republican-led committee said it found no violations of federal law, Senate rules, or any related standards of conduct.
Really? Is that the same oversight committee that Ro Khanna sits on as he insider trades $170 million? So there's been a lot of offensive decisions made today, outside of the one we're used to. Everybody knows how the Anchor Baby scam works.
They're not like our great colonists who didn't need a visa or face waiting lists. The natives got a brand new god and got genocide with their genesis. We welcome blank babies who look like Huguenots, but please not Pol Pot. If they're gonna come here, be bankers' babies. Somebody who Mitt Romney would love.
Squirrel, just remember, there are many, many people who remember what this country stood for, no matter who ran it.
All Americans, not only in the states most heavily affected, but in every place in this country, are rightly disturbed by the large numbers of illegal aliens entering our country. The jobs they hold might otherwise be held by citizens or legal immigrants. The public service they use impose burdens on our taxpayers. That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before, by cracking down on illegal hiring, by barring welfare benefits to illegal aliens. In the budget I will present to you, we will try to do more to speed the deportation of illegal aliens who are arrested for crimes, to better identify illegal aliens in the workplace as recommended by the commission headed by former Congresswoman Barbara Jordan. We are a nation of immigrants, but we are also a nation of laws. It is wrong and ultimately self-defeating for a nation of immigrants to permit the kind of abuse of our immigration laws we have seen in recent years, and we must do more to stop it.
From that to today.
But my feeling is they should open it, the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here.
Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google, sold his real estate portfolio in New York called Amphitheater LLC. 5,900 units, Squirrel. You know what he sold it for? 6 cents on the dollar that he paid for it 10 years ago. Woo! Get out while the getting's good. 312-642-5600.
He will never negotiate his constitutional rights with the government. Live free or die on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Is the IRS throwing high heat like bank levies and wage garnishments and tax liens?
Play ball!
Are you down to your last strike?
Strike two!
When the IRS brings in their closer, you don't bunt. You bring in a power hitter.
That ball is out of here!
At PJN Tax Solutions Group, we go to bat against the IRS. PJN Tax Solutions Group is a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Don't let the IRS steal your paycheck, and don't let them tag your bank account out at home plate. This isn't Little League. This is your financial future. Bases are loaded, 2 outs, and a full count. Are you swinging alone, or are you going to call in a professional? Call PJN Tax Solutions Group now at 630-415-5296. Once again, 630-415-5296, or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-founders of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Here are what some Virago users have to say.
I started using Virago a little more than a year ago. I have 3 school-age kids, and they are constantly bringing home whatever bug is going around school, whether it's a cold, a sore throat, whatever it is. Everyone in the house was getting sick. I started taking Virago to help boost my immune system, and it worked. I haven't been sick since starting Virago. I use just a half a dose daily unless I feel like I'm getting something. Then I'll take a full dose for a day or two, and I'm fine. I also feel great and more on top of my game, like my memory is sharper. I'm not forgetting things. I absolutely recommend Virago.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle today. Visit myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com.
And use promo code IMMUNE to get 30% off.
That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
AM 560, The Answer.
8 pathways to come here legally. Why? You don't need to do that. Just be a scumbag. America is your oyster, scumbag.
Question. Your organization shut down the Manhattan Bridge during rush hour a couple years ago to demand that New York State set up a $500 million fund to give unemployment benefits to illegal aliens. Do you think that was a good thing to do?
I don't know that my organization shut down anything, Congressman. I know that there was...
March in NYC shuts down Manhattan Bridge to call for $500 million unemployment fund. The march was led by members of the FEW Coalition, including the National Day Laborers Organizing Network. That is your organization.
You're holding up a sheet of paper. I don't know where that's from.
This is from your website. This is from the National Day Laborers Organizing Network website.
Yeah, you half-ass pansy gangsters, the upper echelon of the unions, you butter-handed sissies, living on reputations you didn't earn. Half of you can't fight your way out of a wet paper bag. You're still running on that La Cosa Nostra intimidation tactic. You'll get your ass kicked where I am. This is who it benefits to have the illegal aliens here. These scumbags who legalize them, naturalize them, put it on all our benefits without going through any of the process. Fraudsters and scumbags, they hook them up with all the entitlements.
Peaceful protesters do things when there's large crowds of people.
Does that
I think you would agree,
shutting down one of the busiest bridges in the nation in order to push for a $500 million fund to give taxpayer-funded unemployment benefits to illegal aliens?
You know why? Because the union blows the money. They act like they're capitalists and men. They steal the money. They give it to their other gangsters. They fraud the whole system and put it on the backs of everybody, like their pension systems that they steal over and over and over again. And through crooked rat politicians like Joe Biden. Somehow America taxpayers and debt bails out these scumbag unions. Yuck. Michael, Southside.
Shaun, good afternoon. Thank you for taking my call. And I pray that you and your loved ones have a joyful holiday weekend.
Yeah, I just want to go. I mean, I might go back to Illinois just to kick some Democrats' ass. Go ahead.
I understand. As far as I'm concerned, the 6 Supreme Court justices have committed treason. They have thwarted President Trump's efforts to protect our country from illegals, birth tourists, and potential terrorists. His job is to defend the homeland, and these Supreme Court justices have stopped him from doing that. This ruling is completely garbage.
It's no different than when John Roberts rewrote Obamacare. Same bulldog. You know why, Michael? These aren't judges. These are scumbags. These are politicians. All but a handful, maybe 1 or 2 we get every 10 or 20 years. You get a good one, and those are always the ones that are the ones on the side of America and freedom and liberty. They speak for themselves. But when you get the politicians, they'll do anything that their interest really is on the side of. I wonder, did anybody ever give a forensic audit of Roberts and his family members after he rewrote Obamacare? Probably just a coincidence. Glenn in Orlando.
Yeah, hey, Shaun. I have a solution for the birthright citizenship verdict that came in. We're just let in all the pregnant men, and that'll take care of it.
Don't we have enough ugly women as Democrats here? I mean, come on. All they're going to do is slip in a Michelle. Thank you very much. You can get them to figure out what they... That's how you distract them, Squirrel. You get them to confess what a woman is by calling Michelle Obama a man. Matt, Mount Greenwood.
Hey, Shaun, thanks for taking the call. I'm a pretty optimistic guy, but I don't have much faith in the future with these idiot leftist white people. And within a generation, if not two, we're going to look like Brazil in this country, thanks to these morons. And they're useful idiots. They're going to be eliminated once these communists take over, and I truly believe that. You know, even with the exception of the 11 states you always talk about, one of which I'm going to move to in 2 years.
Can I help you? Because I know how hard you work, and I'm going to tell you what the beauty is. And it's always the same answer. They make us and you feel like you're in the minority and you're losing the country and all the rest of it. These are the same crooked rat pig counties that are responsible for the theft of American tax dollars and American debt. The same 396 suck-on counties that make up all the welfare and all the crime statistics and all of the low living in the country. There's still 90% of the country that is way too smart to accept this or believe that it's anything to do with the Constitution, man. We way outnumber them. And then you listen to the governors. Ron DeSantis is having the time of his life, man. They're going to build the wall, Florida-Georgia wall. Thank you very much. This is just the beginning of fantastic times. This is a gift. I mean, after all, is Newsom going to run now for president? Do you think no one remembers how he covered illegal aliens with insurance that he couldn't afford? They're broke.
A campaign on universal health care. We're delivering that. We are implementing our ideals. We are manifesting this principle, this fundamental notion that so many of us have been preaching for years and years and years. Universal health care for all, regardless of pre-existing condition, regardless of the ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status.
Regardless of math, they're broke. You don't have any fracking money. You're like every other Democrat. Except you might because of the trust fund that your daddy set up where you never paid taxes, like a Pritzker. 312-642-5600.
Call Shaun now. 312-642-5600.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great support this past year. They want to make 2026 the best year ever. So to thank you, they are giving you free shipping on your entire order and wholesale pricing. So they are bringing back the mega sale. For example, the classic MyPillows, regularly $49.98, now only $14.98. Turn any mattress into the best mattress ever with the made in the USA MyPillow My Mattress Topper and save up to $100. Get a set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets for as low as $29.98 or the 6-pack towel set for only $34.98. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY or call 800-489-0201 and use promo code LIBERTY. These offers won't last long, so call 800-489-0201 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code LIBERTY. Order now and your entire order ships absolutely free.
Hey Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. The military taught me that every mission is different. You assess the situation, listen to your team, then execute a plan built around what's needed. Same with helping families sell their homes. Whether it's an inherited house, a parent needing senior living, or life's just taking you in a new direction, we don't show up with a one-size-fits-all answer. We start by listening. What's your timeline? What are you worried about? What would make this easier? Then we build a solution around your needs. No repairs or cleanout are necessary. You pick the timeline that works for you, keep your memories, and we handle everything else. Since 2007, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews by doing exactly that, listening first, and treating every family with respect. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com. That's jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
And all the rules that go along with it. Cousins get entitlements to our social safety net. It's preposterous and sickening. Only lawyers could do this to our country. 312-642-5600. When we get back, we're going to lead off I got Mary in Barrington. You'll lead us. Then we got Verlon in there, Ron, Linda, Terry, George, Phyllis. We got one line open, 312-642-5600, after news with the handsome Mike Scott.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. Hot and humid this afternoon with a high of 92. The Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. The court ruling Trump's executive order to eliminate the 14th Amendment's guarantee that those born in the U.S. are American citizens was unlawful. The court also upholds bans on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports. Here's Fox's Jared Halpern.
West Virginia and Idaho laws banning transgender girls and women from female sports teams do not violate the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. More than 24 states have similar laws, and the court's decision will likely settle disputes in those cases as well.
A well-known burger joint in the western suburbs is closing for now. Wahlburgers announcing it has shut down its location in St. Charles. The company says a new location is in the works. Cubs take on the Padres tonight, while the White Sox have won 5 of 7, and they resume their set with Baltimore. The news, a service of the AM 560 Advantage, where membership has its privileges. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. Your next news update is at 5. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the commute. In the AM 560 Traffic Center, here's Jill Urchak.
It's wide open on the outbound Edens. The Kennedy, 38 minutes. Jane Byrne Interchange to O'Hare. The express lanes, those are tight. Belmont to Keeler. Eisenhower out 1 hour. Post Office to 390. And the outbound Stevenson, that is a 55-minute trip to Saba Lakeshore Drive out to 355. The Dan Ryan downtown to 95th, 30 minutes. Inbound at 83rd. Slowing down near 95th from an earlier accident. We're seeing delays outbound 57 from the Ryan down to 103rd. And DuSable Lakeshore Drive is busy either way. Tri-state tie-ups both north and south. Good news on the Jane Addams. That is trouble-free along with the Reagan. Slow traffic to report eastbound 8094 Tri-State to Kennedy, and both directions of I-80 slowing as you approach Center Street. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear with very warm and humid conditions, reaching a low of 77. Wednesday is expected to be very hot and humid with hazy sunshine becoming breezy in the afternoon. Temperatures will climb to a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Protect your family, your phone, and your furry friends with life, electronic device, and pet health insurance.
You rotate your tires to prevent wear and prolong their life.
Shouldn't you do the same with your mattress?
You can with Penny Mustard's double-sided hybrid mattresses.
Combining a steel coil spring center and specialty foam.
So they're more breathable.
More long-livable.
And flippable, too.
You know, tires and mattresses have a lot in common.
How so?
Both spend their lives under pressure. And if they wear out, you feel every bump.
Come see our selection of sophisticrafted, double-sided hybrid mattresses at Penny Mustard.
PennyMustard.com.
With things moving fast to resolve the situation in the Middle East, the headlines may change, but the fundamentals haven't. America's debt continues to climb, and uncertainty still hangs over the global economy. That's why investors continue turning to one asset that has stood the test of time: physical gold and silver. For generations, gold has been viewed as a safe haven asset during periods of geopolitical tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000. 800-8000.
If you've saved $100,000 or more for retirement, call Steve Shyman today at 833-945-7283. That's 833-WILL-SAVE. 833-WILL-SAVE. Schedule your no-cost, no-obligation retirement review and make sure your plan is built to protect what you've worked so hard to earn. And don't forget to listen to Steve's show, Protecting Your Assets, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. right here on AM 560. Call now, 833-945-7283.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios. This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Wild West items, political history, we sell your American treasures. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Don't you remember, Squirrel, when the dimwit in diapers gave all that money away for illegal aliens, temporary protected status? I don't just mean the $22 billion he's put on side so they could pretend to buy cars and houses. I'm talking about for that screwl.
Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans. A significant number are black borrowers. So you can chase your dreams, start a family, buy your first home, start a business, and so much more.
Where are they now? Where's the money now? Is it in Somalia? By the way, Squirrel, they had an Independence Day. You know where it was celebrated? In Minnesota.
The Somali people are part of Minneapolis, and whether they grew up in Hargeisa or Mogadishu, Kismayo or Bosaso, whether they're from Getaway or Galmadug, you know, this is always one of my favorite events of the whole year. You know, you shut down a little portion of lake, you bring it out with extraordinary people. The food is exceptional, and, you know...
Somalia is a social club. It's a dung hole. It is a money laundering currency exchange for the money that was stolen from us. And all you have to do is get the kids to repeat.
Somalia is the best.
Hey, thank you. What do you want to say?
Somalia is the best. Somalia is the best thing in the world. We love Somalia. We don't care what you think about us. And I love Somalia. Anything in the world. Donald Trump does not judge us.
You know where they're giving that speech from, the kids, the school kids? Not from Somalia, from Minnesota. That's some brainwashing 101 right there. Mary Barrington.
What a sad day for our country, Shaun.
I don't know, Mayor, because now the good politicians can use this to run. I think it might be better than you think.
Well, I think Trump should address the nation from the Oval Office no later than Thursday. I think he should come out. He shouldn't take it personally. This isn't a personal thing between him and Coney Barrett. It's about the Constitution, and he should come out and address the nation. And then they should start talking about chain migration, because half this country has no clue that it's not just that they come in and they have a baby. Then the kid is the citizen, and then they bring in the parents, and then they bring in the aunts and uncles and the cousins. They've got to shut down chain migration as soon as possible.
Big win for the
nation and let people know when they need to bang this home, because we don't have much time.
Big win for Catholic Charities, though. They're responsible for how many tens of millions of illegal aliens themselves. This takes the pressure off. Not to mention the money that they were making through NGO fraud. Shh, quiet.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you, Mary, for aggravating the dung out of me. Real quick, Linda, Palos Heights.
Shaun, I have major agita today. Major.
Got a little ajad? Just put some brioche in a glass with some scotch. You'll be all right.
Yeah, oh, that sounds wonderful. Anyway, so you know all the movers and the shakers. You got to know a guy that can start a class action lawsuit for us to sue the government for sending up the red flag saying, you know, come on, come one, come all. Like, at our expense, at the taxpayers' expense, not at the government's expense, at the taxpayers, for those of us that pay taxes.
You just chip away at the existing fascism and communism in the country. I'm telling you, the Social Security lawsuit is the one. So we're going to get Landmark legal on the case, and we're going to figure out how to get standing because they protect themselves. Right? These are crooked lawyers. They've already orchestrated a way for legal bribery. Oh, yeah, that's what you have to do. You take 6-7 million Americans that say, give me my money back. I don't want your garbage. It's not there anyway. Fraud. Right. And that's how you break it. You break it because you scrap the illusion that's been painted for us. There is no such thing as safety, social net safety. There's nothing. It's all fraud. And that's why the debt explodes 30 trillion.
Is there any attorney to take something like this on?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of good attorneys. They're just the ones smiling right now and smirking because this plays right into the hands of the good guys. Whether you think so or not, this is going to be what people run on for the next 50 years. This right here. I'm going to give you an idea. Thank you, by the way, for the call. This is what's going to happen.
I just got word the Supreme Court has upheld birthright citizenship for illegal aliens, rejecting the limits proposed by Trump. Look, I haven't had an opportunity to read that opinion. I don't know whether they have at least given Congress an ability to legislate something differently. But when they did the 14th Amendment, what they were trying to do was overturn the Dred Scott decision. Dred Scott said that the Supreme Court in Dred Scott said Dred Scott wasn't a citizen because he was black. He couldn't sue. And Lincoln rejected that. And so what they wanted to say is, wait a minute, no, you're a citizen, regardless of race, and we're going to correct that injustice. That was the purpose of it. It was not to have people show up from China for 2 weeks, have babies, get them citizenship, and then go back to China.
Now, 4 years, he has lowered the budget, cut taxes 4 years in a row. Not only that, he is still the sitting governor. So you know what the next step is, Squirrel? He used all police departments in Florida, from mine to the state troopers, they can enforce immigration law. Now get everybody out.
It is a roaring decision in favor of birthright citizenship.
Gregory Bavino is the former Border Patrol commander at large and joins us right now. Thanks for being with us. So do you think that migrants are going to self-deport following that ruling?
Christian Edie, thanks for having me. It's good to see you. No, I don't. That is a disastrous ruling from the Supreme Court, especially in terms of what's going on here in the United States with those tens of millions of illegal aliens. That definitely bolsters their belief that there's not going to be a large-scale enforcement effort in the United States, which means we need a large-scale enforcement effort right now, mass deportations, to start immediately.
And it will. Florida, if you are an illegal alien, let me tell you something. You are very nervous. Verlon, Michigana.
I just want everybody to look in the mirror right now and repeat to yourself, we just lost the country. With these two rulings.
Yeah, you're being very dramatic, Olivier. You're like Sir Laurence Olivier. What are you, nuts? We didn't lose the country. You know how many times we fought off these scumbag scoundrels?
Between birthright citizenship and the other ruling where states like Mississippi, California, and Illinois can count ballots for as long as they want after Election Day until they get the result that they want, it's over. And then with these milquetoast, cream puff Republicans in office that will not pass the SAVE Act, won't even take it up, the country is done.
Listen,
There's no saving this country at
I want
all.
you to go see my optometrist. She's at the Costco in Melrose Park. She's a lovely, beautiful girl, smart as a whip, and she's going to give you a diagnosis of short-sightedness. Because all of those states you just described, those are the ghetto states now and forever. All of them. You forgot New York. New York, where the co-founder of Google just sold his real estate portfolio at 6 cents on the dollar. They're imploding in front of your eyes. Scumbags to a certain section of the country, decent people to the other. Don't be short-sighted. Nothing is as bad as you think it is. It is fantastic when you look at the fact now Americans can run on American law over and over and over again. There was a little time period before they figured out how to bribe Illinois Republicans and California Republicans and New York Republicans, where there was a movement called the Tea Party. It got stifled and stymied. There's no question about it. But it was started because of an abuse and a wrong judgment by the Supreme Court justices. Who, by the way, who are these fracking idiots? I mean, aside from a handful, who are any of these morons? Do you ever listen to them? Really listen to them?
You know and I know
what we're talking about.
I have to be perfectly honest with you. You sit there and you have no idea what they are talking about. All I know is that he was asking me these questions about natural law.
Someone may apply it in a way, like Moore, who leads him in a direction that is, quote, liberal. You may apply it in a way that leads you in a direction that's conservative. Or you may, like many argue, not apply it at all. But it is a fundamental question that is going to be almost impossible for non-lawyers to grasp in an exchange. But you know and I know it is a big, big deal. And in conclusion,
one of the things you do in hearings is you have to sit there and look attentively at people you know have no idea what they're talking about.
They're idiots! Stone fracking idiots!
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this. That you obviously have permanent allegiance based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes. But you also have local allegiance when you are on the soil of this other sovereign. And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law?
Well, you're a downright Democrat thief, scumbag, and you go to jail. And you know what else Japan is doing as we speak, Squirrel? Every Islamo-Nazi, get out of the country! The more we think about it, see what a 3-bedroom, 3-bath with a view of the ocean is in Japan. Will you, Squirrel? 312-642-5600.
Broadcasting from the petri dish of corruption known as the state of Illinois.
In the upper Midwest, the nation, and around the world.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
It is that time of year again to save babies by providing ultrasounds with our friends at Preborn. You know how this goes. We've done it every single year at this time. All you have to do is pick up the phone and say, I want to provide a free ultrasound to a girl. Give her the chance to see the truth of what's happening in her body. Every $28 helps do that, saving one baby. $280 can do that, help save 10 babies. More does more. The phone number is 833-850-2229. 833-850-BABY. Join us saving babies with Preborn again this year. We're going to save hundreds of babies, one at a time, 2 or 5 or 10 at a time. That phone number again is 833-850-BABY. That's 833-850-2229. Or go online to 560theanswer.com/baby.
You know what really keeps me up at night? It's the criminals feel more and more bold. They have no fear of any consequences because there are none. So I did what anyone with a family should do. I called Goldilocks. They're not just some cookie-cutter security company. Goldilocks has been protecting Chicagoland homes and businesses for 4 decades, 40 years. And they actually listen. Their technician comes out to the house. He takes a look at what you need to make your house a smart home with a security system you can monitor from anywhere. It's built specifically for me and my family. Motion sensors, smart locks, cameras, monitoring, all customized. I don't trust anybody in Illinois to protect my family. I do it, and I did it by calling Goldilocks. I trust Goldilocks to keep my house, my property, and my family safe. Tell them Shaun Thompson sent you, and Goldilocks will include 3 months free monitoring with any new installation. Call Goldilocks at 708-889-5600. That's 708-889-5600. Or visit them online at GoldilocksInc.com.
If you're over 65 and struggling with knee pain, Joint Relief Institute offers a guaranteed way to treat it. It's non-surgical and often covered by Medicare and private insurance. It's JRI's Joint Arthritis Treatment, knee lubrication placement that's so accurate, it's 100% guaranteed and can relieve your knee and shoulder pain in 10 minutes or less. Book your risk-free consultation today and get back to walking, golfing, pickleball to cycling without pain or medication. Call 708-315-6800. Meet the provider, get an x-ray and joint consultation consultation. Why wait? JRI has treated over 30,000 Chicagoans and performed over 400,000 procedures. You could be next. Over 5,000 five-star Google reviews can't be wrong.
Stop living in pain. Call the Joint Relief Institute today, 708-315-6800, or visit jointreliefinstitute.com. Locations in Glenview, Oak Brook, and Orland Park. That's 708-315-6800 for the Joint Relief Institute. Medicare and most private insurance plans accepted.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group, and I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney, and the truth is I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. After 15 years and over 50,000 cancellations, I can tell you with confidence, we know how to get you out of your timeshare. Call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit guide absolutely free with all your options for cancellation. Attorneys, this was meant to be funny, so please don't sue me, especially my friend Kenneth from Black River Falls, Wisconsin.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-885-2929. That's 800-885-2929. 800-885-2929.
AM 560. The Answer.
Layla, Glen Ellen.
Yes, Shaun.
Yes.
How are you?
Good.
I just want to tell you something here. I'm 75 years old. I'm born and raised in Chicago, looking to get out to go to Florida. I talked to you about that recently.
Yeah.
Anyway, the bottom line is I worked on the West Side as a nurse for 35 years at the bedside. I saw other people that, primarily black people, they say what they want to say. My thing is we're white and we're too polite. We have accommodated so many people. Now we're feeling the pain of it all. No, we have to stand up, and we're not the silent majority. We got to get out there and tell them how it is.
Well, I will tell you this.
Frustrated.
Yeah, but don't be frustrated because it doesn't matter what color you are. We have black people, brown people, yellow people,
get it.
people of character that are just as outraged. This is about character. It is the good character against the rat character. And where you're right is oftentimes the good character is too polite. I agree with you. I think that is an issue. Stand up for what's right and wrong, otherwise you're going to get used to being wrong. Where are we going to go? Ron, Countryside.
Hello. I wanted to say I think they should pass a law that women over 4 months pregnant shouldn't be allowed to travel to the United States.
Boy, that'll cut down on some expenses. But, you know, Ron, here's an interesting thing. I believe this is just a speed bump. This is going to be an incredible benefit. For the next 20 years, for the next generation, people can run against cleaning up an entitlement system that was designed to be frauded. This is out of the closet now. There are far more good people of character who understand wrong and right than there are Democrats. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it. Terry, Chirac.
Hey, Shaun, 3 real quick things. A scarecrow's not responsible for the birds in the air, only the birds on the ground. I thought the law was supposed to scare people from breaking it, not reward them with citizenship. Second thing, there's a line, you're in high cotton, pick yourself 100. Everyone from Texas knows what that means. And third, should we rename the Democratic Party the Pharaohs? Because didn't they build pyramids?
Yes, I like that one. I'll tell you what, they've exposed themselves for what they are, the saboteurs, the communists, the Nazis. That's what they are. They're not socialists. They're Nazis. They govern like Nazis. They steal like Nazis. And they hate like Nazis. George, Naperville.
Yeah, Shaun, Obama just spoke to the people of Chicago. He's hoping for change in the weather. It's a tropical heat wave here.
Yes, we can. Never forget that. Peter, Barrington.
Yeah, Shaun, first of all, so doctors are legally allowed to deny patients if they have Medicaid or Medicare or whatever. How come landlords aren't allowed to deny tenants who rely on Section 8? Isn't it the same concept?
Because of Barack Obama, Peter. You will go back and look at that. It became illegal to deny government cheese in the form of rent. That happened under Obama's first term. And that's a real interesting issue as to why it was never really challenged. Either I have the bundle of rights, of property rights, or I do not. And what these areas have done is nullify the bundle of property rights. Now, will that be challenged? It only means people of courage. But the indicator is, from the co-founder of Google, I'll take 6 cents on the dollar. Do you realize the psychology of selling your assets at 6 cents of the dollar? What that basically is you call up your broker. Is there any moron out there that will pay anything for this garbage? Well, we've got one idiot, and he said he'll give you 6 cents on the dollar. I'll take it. Do you understand what that is?
Yeah, it's a huge loss. And I have one more thing for you. Last Wednesday, you had David Hochberg on, I think, talking about that Housing Act with the corporations buying up housing. Can I thank you for having him on, because it gave me a whole new perspective on renting versus buying.
Oh, yeah, you rent.
I always
you don't
thought
buy
renting
nothing.
was always bad, but you guys made a huge point. And I really appreciate that.
You rent, especially in an area where illegal aliens are getting money to buy real estate. And Joe Biden sequestered $22 billion that he gave specifically to illegal aliens for everything from businesses to cars to homes. You don't ever go near that, because they have, not only don't they have any skin in the game, they have no allegiance to the principle. They're illegal aliens. Pete, Chicago Ridge.
Hey, Shaun, how you doing? Long time no talk. Hey,
I missed you.
This birthright citizenship stuff. They come in, they have babies. I've gone from 83rd and Harlem Avenue all the way to 115th and Harlem Avenue, where it is the Muslim community. None of them have American flag.
Do they have those little yogurt balls in the oil, though? I love those yogurt balls in the oil with the pita. Do they have that there?
I have no idea, but I'm just...
Oh, that's good. Get yourself some.
I'm just saying,
and
nobody's assimilating to this country.
No, just get the pita and the yogurt balls, and you call your real estate broker and take 6 cents on the dollar. We'll be back.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
This 4th of July, celebrate America the right way. Fire up the grill, invite the family over, launch the fireworks, and proudly display a handcrafted wooden American flag from uniquewoodenflags.com. These stunning hand-finished wooden flags are built with real craftsmanship and patriotic pride. Whether you want a classic American flag, military tribute flag, America First design, or a beautiful flag cross that celebrates both faith and freedom, they've got something for every proud American. Perfect for your home, office, man cave, lake house, garage, or as a meaningful gift for veterans, first responders, and patriots who still love this country. This Independence Day, don't just wave the flag, display it with pride. Visit uniquewoodenflags.com today. That's uniquewoodenflags.com.
WIND, Chicago.
Shaun Thompson here. Recently, someone asked me, what is it that I love most about being on AM 560, The Answer? I didn't hesitate. I love the fact that AM 560 is a family. You, the listeners, our advertisers, and all of us who are on air make up one big family in a very bad place. We look out for each other because we share the same values. And so many of our advertisers are small and medium businesses. They're owners who work very hard, they play by the rules, they pay their taxes, they make their communities even stronger. If that describes you, and you own or operate a business, then I want to invite you to consider working with AM 560 to market your business. If you want to reach AM 560 family members, whether through radio, live events, or digital marketing, then call Amy O'Toole. She's a wonderful girl. She's in charge of advertising around here. Call her at 847-472-8925. That's 847-472-8925. Find out how you can become part of the AM 560 family. Together, our family can truly help make America great again.
Are you prepared for the Illinois estate tax? If your estate is worth over $4 million, your heirs could face a tax bill of up to 16% when you pass. Financial advisor Scott Tucker and the team at Scott Tucker Solutions can show you ways to potentially reduce or even eliminate that burden. One strategy is to start gifting assets during your lifetime to lower the taxable value of your estate. Another option is setting up irrevocable trusts, which can shield wealth from estate taxes. Charitable donations and life insurance policies can also be smart tools to offset tax liabilities. Call Scott Tucker and the Scott Tucker Solutions team now, 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. That's 847-474-3888, or go to 560retirement.com. Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
I haven't done a scientific study, but I believe out of my own layman observations, for every 300 crooked rat Democrat attorneys, there's one good one. We don't only have the one good one, we have an incredible, fantastic attorney, a judge, a chief justice, prosecutor, and a congressman to be proud of. Granted, he's no longer a congressman, but he's still a guest on my show. Louis Gohmert will join us after Mike Scott in the news.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Scott in the QC Kinetics newsroom. We've gone over 92 this afternoon, and with the humidity, feels like we're in the triple digits, and an extreme heat warning is in place. The Supreme Court is striking down President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. The court is with the White House today, striking down some campaign finance rules challenged by the vice president. The longstanding rules place limits on how much a national political party committee can spend in coordination with individual candidates. The court also upholds bans on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports. Here's Fox's Jared Halpern.
West Virginia and Idaho laws banning transgender girls and women from female sports teams do not violate the U.S. Constitution's Equal Protection Clause. More than 24 states have similar laws, and the court's decision will likely settle disputes in those cases as well. Writing for the majority, Justice Brett Kavanaugh lays out an interest in states protecting biological females to ensure competitive fairness.
Chicago sports. Cubs take on the Padres, White Sox, and Baltimore. The news, a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. Time now for the AM 560 Business Beat.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
The major averages finishing higher to close out the second quarter, with the Dow scoring its 19th record close of the year, with both the NASDAQ and S&P 500 wrapping up their best quarter in 6 years, while the Dow posted its best quarter since 2022. Stocks showing resilience through war and inflation worries. The tech sector ending a bearish month on a strong note as chip stocks lead the sector sharply higher, even as AI spending worries still linger. The Magnificent Seven big cap tech stocks were mostly higher on Tuesday, but down sharply for the month. Second quarter earnings season kicks off in a couple of weeks, with big banks' financial results seen as the next market catalyst. The Dow up 136 points, the NASDAQ higher by 394, S&P 500 up 59. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, which is one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, or just daily living. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula, no prescription, no masking of symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. My pain almost stopped me. My hands were so bad I couldn't even button my own shirt. I couldn't paint, I couldn't write. And Tanya was the one who told me, I'm not listening to you whine anymore unless you try everything. Try Relief Factor. I did. It helped me get my life back. As America celebrates her 250 years of independence, give yourself the chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, Relief Factor is offering a special patriotic price at $17.76, so you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. $17.76, 3-week quick starts ready for you right now. Relief Factor, because freedom just feels better without pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com. 800-4-RELIEF.
Hey, Chicagoland, Jeff from Jeff Buys Your House. When people call us, they're often dealing with something overwhelming. An inherited home full of belongings, parent needing senior living, managing an estate while juggling everything else in life. Here's what our sellers have to say after working with us. The very thought of hiring an agent, a cleanup crew, and dealing with months of uncertainty was overwhelming. But Jeff's team gave me permission to just leave it all. I took what mattered and they handled everything else. Another seller wrote, even my Medicaid specialist said Jeff Buys Your House is the name to trust. They gave me a fair price without the traditional real estate headache. And this one, they handled every hiccup. Title issues, paperwork, estate complications. I finally felt relieved. For nearly 20 years, our veteran-led team has earned hundreds of 5-star reviews for its professionalism, compassion, and seamless service. No repairs and no cleanout. Take your memories with you and we'll take care of the rest. If you're ready for a no-obligation conversation, call us at 630-895-9530. That's 630-895-9530 or jeffbuysyourhouse.com.
How can you get from here to there? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the eastbound spur, it slows spur to Willow 38 minutes in with an accident reported at Gulf. Outbound Kennedy 40 minutes, Janeburn interchange to the airport. In the outbound Eisenhower 35 to Wolf Road 55 out to 390. Stevenson, that's an hour. DuSable Lakeshore Drive to 355. Outbound Rhine is a half hour, tightening up in the express, Pershing to Marquette. DuSable Lakeshore Drive remains jammed both directions. So does the Tri-State, both north and south. But the Jane Addams is okay. Reagan and 355, those are not showing any major problems as well. This report is a service of the daily podcast of Chicago's Morning Answer and the Shaun Thompson Show. Hear both shows with limited commercials when you subscribe for free to the daily podcasts at 560theanswer.com/podcast. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear, very warm and humid with a low of 77. Tomorrow, Wednesday, expect very hot and humid conditions with hazy sunshine. It'll be breezy in the afternoon. The high will reach 97 degrees. Wednesday night will be clear, very warm and humid with a low of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
I love America. I love the Constitution. I love the First Amendment. I want to carry and all guns. I love property. And let me tell you something. If you care about your country, I'll read Ludwig von Mises and the 6 lessons of the Austrian Economic School, motherfuckers.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white,
my next guest isn't just one of the good guys. He's the captain on the good guy team, and he always has been. Chief Justice, Judge, Prosecutor, and a Congressman from 2005 to 2023, which means he was there during the Obama years. He's dealt with terrible, terrible decisions of both his fellow congressmen, senators, presidents, and Supreme Court justices. Louis Gohmert, how are you?
Well, thank you, Shaun. That's a great introduction. Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. But as far as I know, I'm doing fine. The country's in a big mess right now. Thank God we have President Trump. The way I see it, that was God giving us another chance to save this little experiment in self-government. But, boy, this one decision today, it really does create a hardship for continuing it. Well, but thanks for having me on.
I love having you on. In fact, it was funny. I thought about you last week, and I don't tell my producer who to get. She gets them and surprises me, which I love. But I thought about you last week because this is the time when you need to understand the way that the system works is both beautiful and tragic at the same time, right? This compartmentalized federalism, whether it's a layer cake or a marble cake or whatever the hell it is. But most Americans don't realize how Caligula for nerds, which is what I think Washington, D.C. is, and the Capitol and the Senate. They don't understand how systemically corrupted it is.
What a metaphor.
Well, I mean, it really is. They're systemically corrupted. And like in Chicago, I realized this. We were governed by our lessers in every case, just scoundrels and scallywags who never really want to go back to their home districts. And why would they? Their wife lives there or their husband. So what you have is a system that's sequestered from reality. The problem is that's the problem. The beauty is, in all of this turmoil, Kamala Harris, or as she's known on my show, Willie Brown's Hornswoggler, she only won 396 counties out of 3,143. The vast majority of people in this country that are legal and are registered Americans are fantastic people who reject this kind of mafia control.
That's such a great observation.
I believe they're a minority, a true minority. And the beauty of the layer cake or marble cake or whatever the hell you want to call it is that there are good people in these states, like you and yours, like Ron DeSantis and mine, and all the other states that make up the good American people. They will enforce the law. Now, my question to you is, Ron DeSantis comes out, he hears the case, he doesn't read the judgment, he says, well, we're going to enforce the immigration law as we already have. Can states deport, or can only the federal government deport?
Well, unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever your position, the Supreme Court came out previously in years past and said that the states cannot enforce immigration law, that has to be the federal government. And that was, you recall, back when Arizona was trying to do just that, and the sheriff there was trying to do that. And that was completely anathema to what's gone on in the past because, we had always had local law enforcement and state law enforcement work with the federal government in helping enforce immigration laws. So that really flew in the face of what had gone on for maybe centuries, but certainly many decades. It worked together. So that was a terrible decision. But anyway, it's going to take another run, I think, at the Supreme Court, but I doubt they'll take up another case about the birthright tourism. This decision, a state will not have authority to grant passports and things like that. And the majority opinion just acts like, well, yeah, this has always been the case ever since the 14th Amendment. It's been made clear. And they cite this one case from, the late 1800s. And it takes Clarence Thomas and Alito, and I've just been going through. Clarence Thomas has a 91 page.
I saw it. He had a lot of time, a lot of aggravation. Yes.
Yeah, he did, and I love it. And I love Clarence Thomas, and I love Alito, and they are so clear, plain spoken. But the majority opinion, Roberts, he takes a slam at them and says, they're not being realistic about this, but it will be the federal government that hands out the passports. That's what's been happening. But actually, Shaun, while I was in Congress, we were trying to find out, okay, when did the State Department start giving out passports to people born here to illegal aliens? And we were able to ask the Congressional Research Service, hey, do research on this and give us a report. And they couldn't establish a time when they actually started giving passports to people born here to illegal aliens. There was never an executive order they could find. There was never a law passed by Congress, and they just referred to this one case from the late 1800s. But nothing started happening then. And as Alito points out, it really wasn't until after the 1940s that this view kind of started working its way in. But we still can't find out an exact time when it started happening. And so the supposition was that at some point somebody in the State Department said, you know what, it's just too hard to track down parents to see whether or not they were a citizen, whether they met the requirements. Well, let's just start giving a passport to anybody that's born in the U.S. That's the best we could find out.
Oh, Louis, I'll take
now we've got
$10.
The Supreme Court that says, yep, they're born here, give them a passport. They're a U.S. citizen.
I'll take $10 on Prescott Bush when he started to import the upper echelon of the Third Reich under Operation Paperclip. Yeah, all right. But you know what's fascinating, too, when you look at what's been happening for these many years. And I think you and I have talked about it when I had you on before. Mm-hmm. The notion that states that are using just head counts for entitlements, for school payouts, declare themselves null and void of immigration law decades ago and call themselves sanctuary states. And the recourse was nothing. The recourse was that we just paid it. And it wasn't, this is not redistribution. You know that. We're unmoored from any financial reality. This is debt that's created to give the illusion of redistribution. That's the explosion since you were a congressman to now of $30 trillion on the debt. So you have the system that's not a flaw, it's a feature. And now we've known this. Yeah. It's out of the closet. And the Trump administration, in just a handful of months, has prosecuted and charged thousands of scoundrels who are both legal and illegal, temporary protected status. And I do think the other recourse we have is you can run on this now. You can dust off the shoes, come out of retirement, get the spikes clean, run out of retirement, and a whole group of Louis Gohmers can now get elected to write law. Because the Supreme Court just made a judgment on this law. That doesn't mean we can't pass a new law, does it?
That's right. That is totally right. It is so right. But the things that Alito and Thomas point out, that we have made a grave error here. We've made a big mistake, and history will judge it as such. But if we don't do just what you're suggesting, and get involved and start really reining in what we can, then history will look back and they'll say, well, good people in America got a real wake-up call on today, June 30th, 2026, and they sat back and said, you know what, I'm not happy with either party, and I'm not going to vote, and I'm not going to turn out, I'm not going to put up a good political fight to try to, fix things, and they lost the country. This is really an important day in history for our country.
But you've been through, like I said before, you've been through the worst of it as far as I'm concerned. This judgment, although terrible and truly terrible, it's not the equivalent, in my opinion, yet, although it plays into the part of Obamacare. But that was another abuse of the Supreme Court. Terrible, insanity. Terrible. Right, and it takes, look at insurance premiums. I mean, Louis, they don't talk about it. But
oh, my God.
91%
we knew
are
it was coming, Shaun. You knew it was coming. I knew it was coming. This was not unexpected.
So in the division, look at what else has happened since then. People have come up with different ways, but the division is clear and stark. And we've been in a Cold War, and you've known this for years. So as these other states become populated with the wretched and the good states become populated with the decent, it explains 11 states make up 70% of our GDP. Aside from that, the states that are going bankrupt are the ones that are electing the socialists. However, if you look at what's happening in their markets, they're real markets, between the businesses closing, the businesses leaving, the good people leaving. You've just got the guy from Google sold 5,900 apartments. I don't know if you saw this in Manhattan. 5,900. He had a real estate portfolio at 6 cents on the dollar. And you look at this. This is actually good for us because as the division happens, so will the representation follow. So the good people in the forefront of politics will be the Louis Gohmers. They will be the Ron DeSantis. They will be the Donald Trumps. And you're eliminating that quasi-duopoly that you always fought, the systemic corruption of both parties. I think this is actually good.
Well, we're still fighting. Well, it is if people will wake up and do something. And that's why. And I've got a clarion call here. People, we can and we must rein in the wayward judges, and there's not not that many of them, but there's only one thing that will rein them in, and that's Congress, and it won't be the Senate because they have to have 60 votes to subpoena them. I talked to Senator Grassley about it, but the House Judiciary or the House Oversight needs to subpoena the judges that are crippling President Trump and bring them in and question them about their bad behavior, because Article 3, Section 1, it doesn't say they have lifetime appointments. It doesn't say that they have to commit treason, bribery, crime, or misdemeanor. It says they only get to be a judge during their good behavior. And so the judiciary has not policed its ranks. They give slap on the hands if they do anything, and it's got to be Congress. They start by subpoenaing these judges and forcing them to come in and testify and put them on the hot seat. And then if the activity is bad enough, then you move forward with impeachment. And that's the way we finally rein in the unaccountable judges. Most of them, thank God, are okay, but those that are trying to destroy and take over executive and legislative, they got to be reined in, and this is the way to do it. And we've got a website where people can go in, and it's bad. Let's see, I've got it right here. Badjudges.org. Yeah, badjudges.org. They can sign the petition and let your member of Congress know. We want them subpoenaed and come in, put it on the hot seat question.
Well, the other thing, too, to recognize is that during the years of the dimwit in diapers, I'm the most illegitimate president the country's ever had on a multitude of different levels. They packed those courts, right? 235 so-called judges, right, who are lawyers in costumes, as far as I can see. But, one of the things that people I don't think understand is to get a Supreme Court appointment. I've watched this my whole life in awe, really in awe. And I've been, you know what really changed my mind about the questioning the validity of our system is to watch Joe Biden interrogate Clarence Thomas during that hearing, but moreover, leak what was suspected to be a case with Anita Hill and that whole scam. That's Joe Biden, leaked all that. Yeah. When you trace back all of the scandals to keep off Clarence Thomas, and when you think about the Robert Bork situation, it's unbelievable what they did to that decent man. The system just feels filthy and dirty. So when you see these justices being put up, to me, they're not judges because they're scholars of the law. They're judges because they're connected to the political mafia. Now, you lived in it. Am I being too pessimistic on how exactly you even become a Supreme Court justice or a federal judge? Well, to me, it's Chicago times 10.
Most of them have lived pretty cleanly, and it's in our recent history, most of them, they're A+ rated. The American Bar Association has gone so far to the left, though. I think President Trump did a good thing in saying we're not going to care about the ABA ratings anymore. But if you look at what happened to Amy Coney Barrett and you look at the way they came after Kavanaugh, Shaun, I was saying at the time, look, their goal here is they're shooting for one of two things. Hopefully they create enough fear in these two people or raise enough cane that senators say, oh, I don't feel comfortable voting for them, and they stop good people from going forward. That's one possibility. And the other possibility, if that doesn't work, they hope to intimidate them enough so that when they get on the bench, they have this tendency to think, because everybody wants to be liked to some extent, that they think, all these leftists, they came after me so strong, I'm going to show them that they were wrong about me. I'm going to rule, and they're going to see I'm open. I rule with them, and then they're going to actually be glad I'm on the bench.
Well,
and
their kids go to school with each
some
other.
Of that with Amy Coney Barrett. I think we're seeing it with her and some of her rulings. She's showing them, look, see, you were so against me and thought I was going to be terrible. Look how good I've been.
Well, yes, and it's a big cover-up, too, right? I mean, you look at Catholic Charities, that's a human trafficking ring right there, and she just covered it up and squashes it all and puts the shield of virtue and the protection of law to the atrocity that they've been perpetrating for decades. So there's a lot of moving parts, and their kids go to school together. They all play together. They all know where each other lives. Do you remember when they were threatening I forget which, I think it was Roberts, if I'm not mistaken, and Barrett, and anybody after the Dobbs decision. So there is that intimidation factor, which is the most anti-American thing you could think of. And you look at the judges that they love. Boasberg, the daughter, worked for Kamala Harris. How about Farron-Face Garland from Chicago, who married the Supreme Court of New York, that justice's daughter, $44 million, and nobody can explain it. So that's my fear, is the systemic corruption. So I think it's time for us to challenge some of the legacy entitlements. And I'd like to challenge all of it. I want to start with Social Security. You know, and I know there is no account. They run the whole fracking government out of a checkbook like some ghetto reverend running a tavern. So what we need to do is be offensive and start to challenge these traditional forms of communism and socialism. I want to challenge Social Security. I don't want the scam. Give me my money back. How many of my fellow Americans do I need for a class action?
Yep. Well, when you say we need to be offensive, let me tell you, I had lots of people telling me while I was in Congress, I was very offensive. I was constantly offensive.
That's why I love you. Yeah, I love you for it. You never relented. And, it's funny. How do you see the race in Texas? This is a big race. Paxson this is a big deal. How do you see it?
It's going to be very, very close. I had some serious issues with Ken Paxton. He has done a lot of great conservative cases for Texas and for America. But holy cow, Talarico, man.
Yeah, that's something, isn't it?
Gee, holy cow.
Yeah, you call him Side Saddle in Texas? Is that his nickname?
The kind of the damage. But everybody says, he's just such a nice guy. Yeah, well, that's a problem. So,
all right. Listen, Louis, I got a condo right on the floor, my floor. You come and live with me. We'll take care of everything. You get over here. Things go sideways, all right?
All right. Sounds good.
Thank you for making time. I really appreciate it.
I love talking to you. You bet. Thanks, Shaun.
Thank you, my friend. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
This is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
President Trump has triggered a $200 billion tech disruption, and Wall Street is asleep at the switch. This $200 billion investment in chip technology could make today's artificial intelligence chips obsolete. Technology that will make today's AI data centers a thing of the past, like IBM's old mainframes. While most investors are focused on old-fashioned AI, there are three companies quietly building a trillion-dollar triangle that could transform every tech sector on Earth. These three companies are gearing up to develop and manufacture supercomputers the size of a dinner plate. Institutions like Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street are pouring more than $200 billion into this AI revolution. Investment guru George Gilder has been predicting tech revolutions for more than 40 years, including the iPhone, Netflix, and Amazon. Now he's got his finger on three companies whose technology will change tech forever. Log on to TrillionDollarTriangle.com to find out which three companies are working on what could be the biggest tech disruption since the internet. TrillionDollarTriangle.com. That's TrillionDollarTriangle.com.
I'd like to tell you about a man named Phineas who as a child survived the Holocaust. Phineas survived because Christians hid him from the Nazis, risking everything to save his life. Today, Phineas is in his 80s. He can no longer stand on his own or even leave his home to receive medical care. And when sirens sound and missiles fall, he doesn't have the time or the strength to reach safety. But once again, Christians are helping to save his life. Through the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, a mobile clinic brings doctors and medicine right to Phineas's doorstep, providing care that he otherwise would not receive, especially during a time of war. Phineas said, "Christians saved my life during the Holocaust, and now again, they are helping me." As Israel's Holocaust Remembrance Day approaches, remember these precious children of God by lifting them up in prayer, asking for his protection, his comfort, and his peace. Stand with Israel in prayer by visiting supportifcj.org. That's supportifcj.org.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com, or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Larry, when we get back, you're going to be first. I want to thank you for holding on. We're going to talk about Will County with Larry. 312-642-5600 if you care to participate in the show. And I am telling you right now, it only feels, and it is a loss, but only where the loss is ever accepted. We'll take your calls. 312-642-5600 after Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. In our QC Kinetics newsroom, clear, warm, and humid overnight with a low of 77. The Supreme Court strikes down President Trump's efforts to end birthright citizenship. The court, however, is with the White House in striking down campaign finance rules. The long-standing rules place limits on how much a national political party committee can spend in coordination with individual candidates. The Supreme Court is upholding bans on transgender athletes in girls' and women's sports nationwide. Here's Fox's Shannon Bream at the court.
Women and girls who play sports care deeply about all of these things. They spend extraordinary time and effort in the heat and in the cold to work out early in the morning and late at night, but essentially says they have to savor these athletic accomplishments and cherish them. They say they should be allowed to have these life-changing opportunities on an equal playing field.
Chicago sports. Cubs have won 3 in a row and take on the Padres. White Sox are in Baltimore. The news, a service of the AM 560 store. T-shirts, hoodies, and more from your favorite AM 560 brands when you go to 560theanswer.com/store. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the commute in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jill Urchak.
Outbound Kennedy, downtown to O'Hare, 40 minutes. Accident at Belmont on the shoulder, but it is 38 out, and the outbound side of the Edens looks pretty good. The Eisenhower, 30 minutes to Wolf Road, 50 out to 390, and that slows with an accident at Independence that they just pulled off to the right shoulder as well. And the Stevenson is a 45-minute ride out to the Veterans Memorial Tollway from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Give yourself 28 minutes outbound Dan Ryan from the Chamberlain Interchange, outbound 4 to crash at Cottage Grove. DuSable Lakeshore Drive north, an accident at Belleville in the left lane. Delays either way on that, as well as the Tri-State. This report is a service of the AM 560 Advantage. Membership has its privileges, including early access to event tickets, exclusive contest opportunities, and special members-only content. Join today at 560theanswer.com/join. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear with very warm and humid conditions, reaching a low of 77. Wednesday is expected to be very hot and humid with hazy sunshine becoming breezy in the afternoon. Temperatures will climb to a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com. Time now for a check of the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
In Kane County today, regular no lead is $3.72 a gallon at the Quick Trip on Randall Road in Elgin. $3.75 a gallon at the Citgo on Galena Boulevard in Aurora, and $3.79 a gallon at the Costco in St. Charles.
If you see a low gas price, text the word gas to 312-642-5600, followed by the price and location. And listen each weekday afternoon at 12:30 and 5:30 to hear the lowest gas prices in Chicagoland.
A riddle brought to you by Progressive Insurance. What do your home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at Progressive.com.
Hey, this is Shaun Thompson. You know, most of us spend our entire lives in the paycheck mode. You work, you get 30% taken from the G, you pay your bills, repeat and rinse. And that's how time goes by. Then all of a sudden you're old. Retirement hits. Suddenly, you're the one who has to figure out your paycheck that isn't there anymore. Markets are bumpy, prices are up, things can get stressful real fast. That's why having a real income plan matters. Tom Fortino and the team at Alpha Wealth Group can help you build a strategy to turn your hard-earned savings into a reliable retirement income. They coordinate with your Social Security and your tax planning so you can stop wondering if you're withdrawing the right amount at the right time. Tom Fortino and the people of Alpha Wealth Group have been doing this for 30 years. They can help you by giving you a complimentary retirement roadmap. And all you have to do is call 630-864-6711. That's 630-864-6711 or online at alphawealthgroup.com.
Hello, everyone. Gary Sinise here. I'm thrilled to share that me and the Lieutenant Dan Band are returning to Cantini Park in Wheaton, Illinois, where we will be rocking for our vets. Join us on July 11th for the West Suburban Foundation for Disabled Veterans America 250 concert, saluting our veterans and supporting your veteran community. Tickets are on sale now at WSFDV.org, and I can't wait to see you there. Let's rock for our vets.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Classic cars, vintage motorcycles, gas pumps, drive up the value at auction. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Look at it this way, Squirrel. 80% of Somalians are on government welfare. Aliens only equal, what, 60%? I mean, I guess there's always an upside if you look at it.
In food stamps, if you say this is your income, they got to believe you. They can't hold your benefit until they check, and states are not required to actually run you against a database of people who are working and who have jobs and what their income is. They don't have to do that, so they don't. What do we say? We say, I'm checked against databases all the time when I want to buy something. Why shouldn't you get the same thing when you're looking for government food benefits? And so that's one of the things.
Because those are kickback schemes, the areas that promote that. They cannot keep businesses in business.
Yesterday, the shocking news. Today, the reality. Several popular restaurants across the Bay Area have abruptly closed its doors. What? Vine Hospitality Group closed all 7 of its locations yesterday, including LB Steak and the Left Bank. Hundreds of employees are, without any notice, are out of a job.
Some of them picked up their last paychecks today. NBC Bay Area's Emma Goss is near.
But they were supposed to get a raise. You're fired. Good news is you can sleep in tomorrow. Larry, Will County. Larry?
How
are you?
Been here a long time.
I appreciate
you. Had about 4 years ago when you were gathering there.
I appreciate you hanging on, Larry.
Yep. Anyway, I went to vote in 2024.
We got a terrible connection. Larry, we're going to put you on. Poor guy waited on hold. We're going to put you on hold, Larry. We got to get you back. You got a terrible line. And what Larry wanted to talk about is his vote being frauded. Well, you've got that, and then you've got the illegal aliens that are already on voter rolls.
What we have found is that some of the voter rolls in the swing states are chock full of illegal aliens and other people who should not be on the voter roll.
This is an apostrophe. This particular individual, Aaron, has, as a voter ID number, an apostrophe. An apostrophe is not an alphanumeric character.
And there's no rhyme or reason on how those characters are assigned. This is the order these voters were entered into the system and what they were given as voter ID numbers.
That's just the illegal aliens. Larry and Will County, what happened to you?
I met you at the Boulevard about a photo and watched from with the a conservative group there, Jeannie. But anyway,
yeah, sure. Go ahead.
2024 to vote, and when the electronic screen, they flipped over, they didn't my ID to look at it, and when they flipped it over, the birth birthday's wrong, and there was no gender on my on the screen. And I said, well, I can't. And it's birthday. It's wrong. So he flip it over and he gets a cell phone.
I got what you got. I don't know what to do there, Honey Bunny. I feel terribly waited online such a long time. But what he's basically saying is the system frauded him. And that's interesting because at least they didn't just make it up like they did during the 2020 election. They didn't just make it up and flip votes.
This is really fascinating. Again, all of the counties that we're looking at here, Democratic stronghold, Phil mentioned this, all around the Atlanta area. Here's where it gets really bizarre. Fulton County, most populous county, it is Atlanta. They just stopped counting at 10:30 p.m. They stopped counting their absentee ballots. They said they'd pick it up in the morning.
Atlanta, meanwhile, has stopped counting votes until 9 a.m. on Thursday.
A water pipe has broken in State Farm Arena. State Farm Arena is where they were counting the absentee ballots of Georgia's most populous county. And
after that, $22 billion was set aside for illegal aliens to pretend to be productive Americans. That's not what they were.
It is a roaring decision in favor of birthright citizenship as contained within the 14th Amendment. That is despite the countervailing evidence of some of the drafters of that amendment that they did not want this to be something that would cover birthright citizenship. Now, having said that, there are very good arguments on both sides here, good faith arguments. And I'm just reading through the Roberts decision today. But it is a very comprehensive and good faith argument. What is left here is a decision for the country as to whether it wants to examine a constitutional amendment. Some countries that have had.
Do you know what the good faith argument was that he's talking about? The system runs on the scheme of a head count and debt created for the entitlements of that head count. Kind of like Chicago. They don't care if someone's a citizen when they register for public school. What they get is $33,000 per head. They need the head count. That's how the system runs. It's a system built on fraud. And when they tell you the benefits, there are no benefits.
The report has revealed that Joe Biden's HHS spent $22.6 billion in grants for migrants covering cars, home loans, cash, housing, health care, and even money to start up businesses, all funded by American taxpayers. According to the report, the Office of Refugee Resettlement funded billions to nonprofit organizations acting as a, quote, giant magnet for illegal migrants, all while losing track of 32,000 migrant kids.
That was early on, Squirrel. That was in the beginning. But that money didn't go strictly to illegal aliens and their cars or home purchases. A lot of it ended right back up in the coffers of Democrat scallywags.
What we've uncovered so far is that so much of the waste, fraud, and abuse of our federal government is actually funding their side of the aisle. It's funding media outlets that are running cover for Democrats routinely. The NPR, PBS, the BBC, Politico. It's going to fund left-wing NGOs that are facilitating the invasion of our country. It's going to fund left-wing transgender activism and sex changes all over the globe. This is money that's being used, taken from the American people and used against their interests.
It's not a flaw. It's a feature. And how do you get it going? You put in Democrat frauds who are now running for governor in California.
This is not the way you do an assembly line.
This was very upsetting to some of the staff, and some even sent a letter all the way to the bosses at the agency saying, we don't think that this is safe for kids. We think we're releasing them to people who might traffic them. Wow.
It's simple math. It's addition and subtraction. It's not.
We actually got access to a recording of an internal meeting where Secretary Javier Becerra is berating staff for moving too slowly.
If Henry Ford had seen this in his plans, he would have never become famous and rich.
Do you know they don't know how many illegal aliens are here, but the guesstimates are between 40 and 50 million.
But my feeling is they should open it, the border, and just let them pour in, let everybody pour in, and then the answer, which is, well, then there'll be all these problems. Yes, there should be. It shouldn't be so great here, is what I'm saying. In America.
And then what happens? After they're here, the talk of how to finance it for the suck-ons.
They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about.
I mean, he is ridiculous, but the reason he's using communism is because he knows socialism is really popular.
You know who that is, well? Congresswoman Cockeye from Seattle. Jayapal with that one giant left eye. Look at me when I talk to you, whore. And he was absolutely right about what this is. There is no such thing as socialism. There is no such thing as Marxism. All of it falls under the guise of government control and slavery among the citizens.
Well, I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually, because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is, maybe since our founding. That includes World War I, World War II, September 11th. It includes the Pearl Harbor attack. I think this is the biggest threat to our nation. People will smile when I say that, but the smart people are going to say, you know, he's probably right. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous.
Squirrel, I just got an email from the Collier County Water Department. My water bill went down. You know why, Squirrel? I don't live where Democrats rule.
On July 1st, New York City will raise water and sewer rates another 6%. All right, 6% may not sound too crazy, but here's why it's a problem. This isn't the first or second increase. In fact, this is the 6th straight increase in 5 years. Last year's increase was 8.5%, and in just a few weeks, another 6%. In the past 5 years alone, New York City's water and sewer rates will have increased 35%.
Is there anybody that will buy this property? Sell it! 312-642-5600.
Marxists, socialists, and communists are not welcome on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
Shaun Thompson here. Recently, someone asked me, what is it that I love most about being on AM 560, The Answer? I didn't hesitate. I love the fact that AM 560 is a family. You, the listeners, our advertisers, and all of us who are on air make up one big family in a very bad place. We look out for each other because we share the same values. And so many of our advertisers are small and medium businesses. They're owners who work very hard, they play by the rules, they pay their taxes, they make their communities even stronger. If that describes you, and you own or operate a business, then I want to invite you to consider working with AM 560 to market your business. If you want to reach AM 560 family members, whether through radio, live events, or digital marketing, then call Amy O'Toole. She's a wonderful girl. She's in charge of advertising around here. Call her at 847-472-8925. That's 847-472-8925. Find out how you can become part of the AM 560 family. Together, our family can truly help make America great again.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
AM 560, The Answer.
There is a teacher out there who is a wonderful teacher, and that's not a sentence you hear a lot. She is somebody who gives lectures. She's written books. This is one of the lectures I want you to understand exactly why we're being inundated with this propaganda. It's not because it's in popular demand. It's because it's in minority demand. But the minority is motivated because they get paid on the fraud, whether it's the school system, the entitlement system, or just government fascism.
After long nights and painstaking work, we presented an...
Wrong guy, that's the commie. Here's who she is talking about him.
Instead, young people swim in a culture of instant gratification and live your best life. You do you. Be who you want to be. And if you think Gen Z is bad, just you wait till you see Gen Alpha. The culture shift comes from what children learn at school and online. Ask any young person what history they learned at school, and they'll tell you Hitler. Ask them what else? Slavery. Ask them what else? American civil rights. In fact, what little they know of history will be all about black and brown people fighting for equality against the white man. Women fighting men for the vote. Gay and trans people fighting for various rights. Our young people have been taught that history is simply one long story about various groups struggling under the oppressive dead white man. Out with Dickens, Shakespeare, Kipling, and Wordsworth. We must decolonize. History is taught through an oppressor lens. The triangular slave trade, white men held the power. What about Britain ending the slave trade? More than a quick mention, if at all? No. What of the Arab slave trade that lasted 3 times as long as the triangular slave trade? No.
The good news is that's an actual teacher. That's a professor. And there are good people out there that are teaching the right things. You just don't know it. You live in a Democrat area. Jerry, Western Burbs.
Shaun, good evening, my man. Hey, quick comment on this. As far as the immigration issue, the only way you're going to get this cleaned up is if you start perp walking some of these employers that hire these guys. I service
there's so much going on right now.
Well, I don't see any, Bob's manufacturing firm or Frank's warehouse getting raided.
There was a window company.
Perp walked out.
There was a window company, a husband and wife. They employed, 37 guys. I had it on my board a couple of weeks ago. The Trump administration arrested them and the illegals, but arrested them. And they're being charged with labor violation. So, it is happening, Jerry. You got to understand, in the last 4 weeks, this new DOJ has already arrested or indicted 1,400 people who have been stealing from our entitlement system. So, there is a lot of movement, brother. It's not the days of old. There's been more activity under Blanche than there has been since Trump won in 2016. But go ahead.
No, I would perp walk these guys out, and then I would bring some charges up on Catholic charities.
Now that I like.
And I'm Catholic.
That I completely agree with. Oh, yeah, we were all, a lot of us were born Catholic, and then you have Southside Bob. The church has a Southside Democrat for an infallible pope. That's all you have to say. Thank you very much, Jared, for the call. Oh, I didn't mean to hang up on you, but we're against the clock as always. How much time do I got, Squirrel? Not any? All right. We'll be back soon.
Welcome back to Ask Hassleus.
I'm your biggest fan.
Oh, well, thanks.
The way you talk about employee-free, hassless showrooms, free next-day delivery, and prices that are way low. Nobody does it better.
I don't know what to say.
Say that I can get a free box spring.
Okay. Now through Monday, at Hassleus, get a free box spring with the purchase of any Sealy Posturepedic or Beautyrest mattress.
I have that tattooed on my...
Open 9 to 9. Find an employee-free showroom near you at hassleus.com.
With things moving fast to resolve the situation in the Middle East, the headlines may change, but the fundamentals haven't. America's debt continues to climb, and uncertainty still hangs over the global economy. That's why investors continue turning to one asset that has stood the test of time: physical gold and silver. For generations, gold has been viewed as a safe haven asset during periods of geopolitical tension and market volatility. That's why Advantage Gold wants to send you a free gold investment guide valued at $49, plus a free copy of economist Ken Rogoff's acclaimed book, Our Dollar, Your Problem, when you call 800-900-8000. Discover why central banks are buying gold, why many Americans are diversifying with precious metals, and how a tax and penalty-free rollover into physical gold and silver may fit into your retirement strategy. Don't wait until the next crisis dominates the headlines. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000 right now. Consult your financial advisor before investing. Call 800-900-8000.
This 4th of July, celebrate America the right way. Fire up the grill, invite the family over, launch the fireworks, and proudly display a handcrafted wooden American flag from uniquewoodenflags.com. These stunning hand-finished wooden flags are built with real craftsmanship and patriotic pride. Whether you want a classic American flag, military tribute flag, America First design, or a beautiful flag cross that celebrates both faith and freedom, they've got something for every proud American. Perfect for your home, office, man cave, lake house, garage, or as a meaningful gift for veterans, first responders, and patriots who still love this country. This Independence Day, don't just wave the flag. Display it with pride. Visit uniquewoodenflags.com today. That's uniquewoodenflags.com. Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
We're not arguing philosophies, we're arguing facts, and we're right. That's what you have to focus on. The kids, the generations, are victims of malpractice in the education system. Our next guest is working to reverse that. He is the president and CEO of Palladium Pictures, LLC, an independent film company that focuses on documentaries to really tell the history of America. Michael Pack, producer, director of the new documentary, The Lockdown Dissidents, a Wall Street Journal documentary that's going to focus on exactly the kind of fascism, communism, and monarchy we lived through during COVID, specifically in Democrat eras. We'll talk to Michael Pack, who will tell us about his documentary and so much more, as his past documentaries are from Clarence Thomas to Nuclear to Hamilton, but that'll be after Fox Weiser News.
Birthright citizenship upheld. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. One of three key rulings issued by the Supreme Court today. The court rejected President Trump's executive order declaring children born to people in the U.S. illegally or temporarily are not American citizens.
Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts walked through the historical developments leading up to the birth of the 14th Amendment. Quote, citizenship then and now was the right to have rights, to freely participate in our political community. The framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every freeborn person in this land.
Fox's Shannon Bream outside the Supreme Court, but Justice Samuel Alito called the decision a risk to national security.
Outlining a scenario in which a woman from a country hostile to the U.S. comes here to give birth, then returns to a place where the child would be, quote, inculcated with hatred of this country, but free to travel on a U.S. passport with no restrictions in or out of the U.S. Quote, even if he plots to harm this country, he cannot be deprived of his status as a citizen.
President Trump is calling on Congress to develop legislation on birthright citizenship. In a 6-3 decision, justices ruled to loosen campaign finance rules, finding limits to how much a political party spends to coordinate with the candidate violates the First Amendment. U.S. Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner in Qatar for meetings with media mediators working to end the conflict with Iran, but there won't be any direct talks with Tehran.
The talks are supposed to cover Tehran's implementation of the agreement with the U.S. and its frozen assets after the 2-week-old ceasefire was tested over the weekend once again by crossfire in the Persian Gulf.
Fox's Jackie Heinrich at the White House. Iran is sending representatives to Doha later this week. President Trump has announced Republicans will hold their first ever national convention ahead of the midterm elections. It'll be held September 9th and 10th in Dallas. America is listening to Fox News.
Stuck in traffic? We've got the answer from the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On the eastbound spur, that slow spur to Lake Avenue, it's heavy inbound at 45 minutes. The outbound Kennedy, 35 from the Janeburn interchange to O'Hare. Outbound Eisenhower, 48 minutes. Post office to 390. Stevenson, 45 minutes as well, out to 355 from DuSable Lakeshore Drive. 30 minutes outbound Orion, Titan the Express. 43rd to Marquette. Outbound 4 to crash at Cottage Grove on the shoulder to watch for. And DuSable Lakeshore Drive northbound at Belbo. Watch out for an accident in the left lane. You'll see tie-ups either way on Lakeshore Drive. And the Tri-State westbound Jane Addams at 47 crash off to the side. Reagan and 355, though, those are in pretty decent shape. This report is a service of the AM 560 mobile app. Listen to AM 560 on your smartphone or mobile device when you download the AM 560 mobile app at 560theanswer.com/mobile. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchek.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear, very warm and humid with a low of 77. Tomorrow, Wednesday, expect very hot and humid conditions with hazy sunshine. It'll be breezy in the afternoon. The high will reach 97 degrees. Wednesday night will be clear, very warm and humid with a low of 78. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Those words weren't written for history books. They were written for you. But it's hard to pursue happiness when pain is a part of everyday life. Relief Factor was created to help people address inflammation, which is one of the most common causes of ongoing aches and pains from aging, overexertion, or just daily living. It's 100% drug-free, research-based formula, no prescription, no masking of symptoms, just real relief so you can keep moving forward. My pain almost stopped me. My hands were so bad I couldn't even button my own shirt. I couldn't paint, I couldn't write. And Tanya was the one who told me, I'm not listening to you whine anymore unless you try everything. Try Relief Factor. I did. It helped me get my life back. As America celebrates her 250 years of independence, give yourself the chance to reclaim yours. To commemorate, Relief Factor is offering a special patriotic price at $17.76, so you can pursue your happiness being pain-free. $17.76, 3-week quick starts ready for you right now. Relief Factor, because freedom just feels better without pain. Visit ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com. 800-4-RELIEF.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for Townhall.com. As America celebrates its 250th birthday, it's worth honoring our glorious Constitution, the longest surviving written charter of national government in world history. Rarely have so few gotten so much so right. The Constitution protects our inalienable rights, reflecting the truth that our freedoms come from God, not government. It enshrines the principle of we the people, affirming power belongs to citizens, not rulers, and the government exists to serve the people, not the other way around. Because the framers understood the temptations of power, they divided authority among 3 branches of government, each designed to check the others. They also balanced the powers of the federal government and the states. Our Constitution ensures that Americans live under the rule of law, not the rule of men. May it ever be so.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this hour of the Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue.
I believe the education system in this country, since Howard Zinn started to write books for school has been so bastardized, these public schools specifically, but not exclusively, are guilty of malpractice, and that is the current climate of our country. The good news is it can be combated. It can be combated through people and the efforts of people like my next guest, who is the president and CEO of Palladium Pictures, LLC, an independent film company that he launched in 2023 with his wife, executive producer Gino Capopac. And Palladium focuses on high quality fact about patriotism, about information, and the new one is about the lockdown dissidents that we experienced under the greatest example of fascism this country's ever seen, in my opinion. He is the producer-director of the Lockdown Dissidents, president and CEO of Palladium Pictures. Michael Pack, how are you?
I'm very well. I'm happy to be on your show. Thanks for having me on.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm fascinated with what you've done in a very short period of time. You've really kicked out some fantastic documentaries. And this one is very interesting as well. And I do want to talk about the past ones, especially Hamilton. I'm very curious to know. But what we lived through during COVID was surreal to me. And, you know, I'm older, and I changed my life. I had a head start of what I wanted to do in retirement or quasi-retirement. I don't think real men retire, but that's just me. So I implemented that because to live under the Democrat fascism that I saw in my once great city, once great state, I couldn't believe what happened in Chicago, Illinois. I couldn't believe it. But it was no different than New York or L.A., and it was really a division of the country. And I was proud to be a dissident. I didn't buy a word of that nonsense. Is that what your documentary focuses on?
It does. I mean, this is part of a partnership that we've launched with the Wall Street Journal opinion section to do short documentaries, about 30 minutes, on important issues and events that have been misreported or memory hold. This is our third. Your listeners can find them all. They're free. They're not behind the Wall Street Journal paywall at wsj.com/opinion docs, or go to our website, palladiumpictures.com. And this one tries to tell the story of the lockdowns in a brief time. I mean, we all lived through it, but it's amazing how people have sort of forgotten it or maybe never put it all together. So we start with a lockdown beginning in Wuhan, or the pandemic beginning in Wuhan. And, you know, Wuhan locked down in a way never seen before. You know, they were sealing people in their homes, dragging people to detention centers. And then the World Health Organization went and declared it a great success, and it became the model. And it had never been tried before in a pandemic. And we focus on the people who began to collect evidence that it wasn't working. Scientists primarily and epidemiologists. So in March, one of them, Jay Bhattacharya, who's now the head of the NIH and was then a professor at Stanford, launched a study. It said declared that already proved conclusively that COVID disproportionately affected older people, and the smart approach was to focus, what he called focus protection, focus your attention on isolating older people, let young people go about their business, and particularly no reason to close schools. But he was roundly denounced at the time, as were others like Scott Atlas that we focus on. And then we look at what happened inside the COVID task force. We have Robert Redfield, who was then head of CDC. Scott Atlas was on the task force, and how those views were marginalized. And then when Jay and two other scientists wrote the Great Barrington Declaration in October of 2020, they were actually denounced. Francis Collins, head of the NIH at the time, wrote to Tony Fauci saying these are fringe epidemiologists, even though they were from Harvard, Stanford, and Oxford, and there needed to be a devastating takedown rather than a debate. And they acted to suppress it. And we traced this through to the Twitter files after Elon Musk bought Twitter. And it was, conclusively proven that the government had acted to suppress this information. It approached Facebook and Twitter and others and told them to deboost or shadow ban these ideas. And I think that it's a time, just to hark back to something you said earlier, Shaun, where really our freedoms were totally abridged. I mean, in this case, freedom of speech. And I think freedom of speech, I value my freedom of speech, but I think it's particularly important in science. Science thrives on debate. And this happened, and they suppressed our other freedoms, too. I mean, freedom to assemble, freedom of religion. Churches were shut down, and we Americans gave that up to the government. We shouldn't do it again.
No, and you know what's so infuriating there's a couple of layers of infuriation. But however, what I find amazing, is they did all of those things and more, and yet the accusation of me, of Trump and people like me, is that we support a king. It is I'd be flabbergasted if I could be that articulate. But when you live through this, the thing to always focus on is that the enemy of all men, regardless of your wealth, no matter what your circumstance, is time. They stole our time. They changed the course and the trajectory of every individual's life, and I'm guaranteed as an American for that not to happen. So for me to play nice now, I got to tell you something, Michael. I'm the kind of guy where if you cheat me out of $10, I go to your house, I flip over your table and beat you up in front of your wife. I don't like this. I don't like that I'm supposed to take it. How do you explain the politeness of Americans who should be the dissidents, always and forever?
It's an amazing thing. We pride ourselves on being rugged individualists, but the government asked us to surrender our unalienable rights, and we did. And as Scott Atlas says, if they can be taken by the government, they're not unalienable. And they were promised to us as 250 years ago, as we're celebrating this week, by the Declaration of Independence and later enumerated in the Bill of Rights, and we gave them up. I think we are just used to the rule of experts. And we should not be. I mean, you say government, the accusation of President Trump is a king. Well, in this period, he gave up too much of his power to Tony Fauci, Deborah Birx, and others. He knew, he had a sense that it was wrong, but he didn't, he would not do it in the second term, but he allowed that to be, the official government policy, well after the evidence that social distancing, masks didn't work. That was the guidance from the COVID task force. And, it's a real case study. And, I live in Chevy Chase, Maryland, a very blue suburb of Washington, D.C., and there were plenty of thank you, Dr. Fauci lawn signs during that period. And I think most of my neighbors still think Dr. Fauci was a hero. So the purpose of the documentary is to really expose what happened, but not in a kind of, not in a deeply opinionated way. We intend to tell it as a story, and it's an amazing, incredible story. We lived through it, but it's still incredible. And we want to just lay out the facts for people to see and remind people of what they went through and how it all played out over time, which people really forget. People try to move on. People try to put it behind them. But I think there's a lesson to be learned, as you said, or they're going to do it again. And people should be angry. You mentioned you were angry. I think that's the right response, and I hope that we can get people to feel that way.
Well, see, and the other aspect of our circumstance, we're hoisted by our own petard of politeness. We're hoisted by that, and we're hoisted by the fact that we see ourselves as too sophisticated to demand the kind of righteousness that is in order here. You see, I was suspicious from day one, and I'm going to tell you why, Michael. I could see how smart you. I mean, and I say this really, I mean it. I know how smart you are. I know how wonderful this is, and the people who you deal with, how smart they are. But ultimately, it's about the money. And when you look at the money that transferred here, when you're talking trillions, not billions anymore, trillions of dollars, not just on the national debt, but was stolen in real time. And it's a funny little circumstance that I was wondering if, I don't think this came out in time for you to include it, but the money that was allowed to be stolen from the American people and really the future, because the people didn't have the money, it was created out of debt. And right now in Chicago, which, as you know, is the mafia, short in the pants, Democrat capital of America. A judge just allowed two crooked doctors that run a ghetto hospital to steal over $800 million in fraud money that was created during COVID. Fraud. They stole the money in PPP, in the phony tests that they did. And another one, there's three guys at one hospital. He stole $300 million, and he's going to get his case dismissed because the federal prosecutors are tied up in some form of a allegation that they did something improper for protesters for immigration in a month. So they threw out these cases where they stole the money 3 years ago. So it doesn't mean anything if we don't take these people who robbed us and make them pay. And I think the greatest example, in my opinion, is Fauci, who orchestrated and concocted and financed the creation of the bioweapon and then released it with EcoHealth Alliance and all the money. So this is aside from the virus and what it was and all of it, I believe it was a concocted and created bioweapon to steal trillions of dollars from the future in the form of debt. And who asked the question? Trump can't, because he bought it, like you said in the beginning. So he's in for a penny, he's in for a pound. Don't you think this should be the mantra of the next generation, to run to prosecute the people who swindled us?
I think so. I mean, when you shovel money out like the trillions that were shoveled out in the beginning of the Biden administration, corruption follows, and they probably had a sense that that would happen. But, the Fauci thing, I think the other robbing that you mentioned earlier is very significant. People were really robbed of their time. And, I'm older, too. You mentioned you're a little older. And I think especially young people, these young kids that were in, first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth grade during this time, lost these years of schooling. They were kind of set off. It's not just the schooling; they were off track. There was all the suicide ideation. They'll never get it back, and it disproportionately hurt poor kids. Rich kids had parents that had plenty of internet access and could teach the classes to them because they were home anyway. Poor kids, their parents were working in one of those, either food stores or truckers, and they had, they would be, not even phoning in, or if they were zooming into their classes, or if they were turning the camera off. Yeah. They lost something really valuable, and America lost something. So did the world. We lost. I think the work ethic was hurt. People were working from home, doing no work, and I mean, it was and businesses shut down that'll never come back. And I mean, these things are really, money is important, and I completely agree with the corruption. But hand in hand in that is the loss of other things that are maybe harder to quantify, but equally important.
Exactly. The mores of our nation and the work ethic of America, you forever changed not just the trajectory, but you changed generations. And you know what else is fascinating? To see the example of the areas that really combated the government. Now, unfortunately, there were all but a handful. However, those are the areas today that thrive. Is this something that you include in the dissidents film? The areas that push back.
Yeah, I mean, both Jay Bhattacharya and Scott Atlas, who are two of the COVID lockdown dissidents we focus on, advised Governor DeSantis, and so we look at the Florida versus California case. And so, I mean, a lot of data was sort of flowing around at the time. What is a COVID death? People would have a heart attack, but if they haven't had COVID, it'd be a COVID death. But as Scott Atlas says in our film, now, years later, it's clear the thing to look at is excess deaths. How many people died that wouldn't have during the COVID period that weren't expected to die based on the usual mortality rate? And excess deaths in Florida and California, when you make adjust for age, are roughly the same. California locked down intensely, Florida mildly. So all that lockdown that California did had no impact on excess deaths. What it did have impact on are the things we were just talking about. Kids losing their schooling, suicide, people not seeing their aged parents. So for all that sacrifice, they got no benefit in excess deaths. And it's the same thing in Europe, where Sweden did not lock down, and say near neighboring Germany did lock down. And you can look at their excess deaths adjusted for the factors that make them different. And lockdowns had no measurable effect on excess deaths. It was a huge blunder, a worldwide blunder of really horrific consequences and terrible costs. And there are people in America, probably not your listeners, who just don't know that. And they're going to let it happen again. And we really we're happy that our film is on the Wall Street Journal website, where we hope to get a very broad audience, maybe people who've never heard these ideas. And I ask your listeners to watch it and get their friends who maybe don't agree with them to watch it. And I think the case is now pretty clear. And you don't have to, look, there's a lot of conspiracy theories about it all and who did what and why, but just the surface of it is bad enough. The provable, uncontested facts are bad enough, and we shouldn't let them happen again.
Yes, and it's something to realize. Aside from the censorship, what followed the censorship, what took the place of information or debate, was unequivocal propaganda that I also didn't think I would see here. I remember talking to a friend of mine whose father fled the Soviet Union, and he's a very, very smart guy. And his father was actually the cousin of Brezhnev.
Hello?
And can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I lost you for a second. But
No problem. I was telling you about a friend of mine his father was the cousin of Brezhnev. And one of the key aspects of how to keep the society placated was propaganda. To see all of the news from coast to coast, from small outlets to big, regurgitate the exact same talking points, never off topic. That was something to live through too, wasn't it? And you being in the film and documentary business, you must have just been in awe how that was just constant propaganda, wasn't it?
Well, that's right. They were all in lockstep. I will have to say that my partner, the Wall Street Journal opinion section, is one of the exceptions. They published Scott Atlas and Jay Bhattacharya in March of 2020, way before everybody else, and they consistently wrote supportive editorials and op-eds. But you're right. Almost all of the mainstream media, it was like whatever Fauci said, he was their god. And I think part of that is something we haven't talked about. I mean, he was in office for 40 years. He was typical, I think, of the swamp. You know, he had 40 years to develop his power base, to get all the people work for him in important jobs. He had developed his contacts in the media. So Robert Redfield tells the story that in an early meeting of the COVID task force, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, spoke, maybe Alex Azar, head of HHS, spoke, he spoke, and then Fauci spoke, and Fauci said, I'm the expert here. If you have any questions, talk to me. And Robert Redfield said to him afterwards, Tony, you know, you run a lab at NIH. You know, there are like hundreds of labs at NIH. I'm the head of the CDC. What is that about? But the fact is, Tony Fauci seized that power. You know, he had spent 40 years building up his power base, but he was able to seize that power. And part of that was his working in lockstep, both with the, Congress, but also the media. Your very first point.
Yes, you know what's fascinating too. He was hired 3 months after I was born, and when you look at the scandal that is Fauci, when you look at the scandal through the 80s and 90s, it's not just a great movie that his stupidity inspired the Dallas Buyers Club, but it's amazing the scandals that he really navigated through, and not only wasn't penalized, he was promoted. I mean, it is a legacy.
Indeed.
I think if you look back at his 50-year career, it is a legacy of not just mediocrity, but bald-faced scandal. And you and I are also old enough. I try to tell the kids here who work in the station, there was a time that the economy was so fantastic. You know who went to work for the government? The morons in your neighborhood. The morons. Somebody take a civil service test for this idiot. Or he had a cousin who was elected. Let's put him in charge of trees for the village. This is what it used to be. And somewhere in our lifetime, Michael, these are the people, the lessers among us, who became the gods above us. That's what I'm interested to figure out, because your other documentaries touch on American history, on American ingenuity. It's an amazing transformation that happened during the last 50 years, half a century. How the morons from the neighborhood became the gods who took away your freedoms. Boy, oh boy, are you going to steal that for your next documentary? I won't sue you, I promise, Michael.
All right, well, that sounds good, because I know you can be tough.
Well, I appreciate this documentary. Now, I know it's palladiumpictures.com, because that's where your other documentary. We can access all your documentaries there, correct?
Yes, and it isn't even the ones we did before Palladium. Our previous company was Manifold Productions, and we have over 15 documentaries that we've done. There's one on Justice Clarence Thomas called Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words, one on the war in Iraq, the last 600 meters, and as you say, one's on George Washington and Alexander Hamilton, very appropriate for this weekend of July 4th.
Yes, I'll say so. And before I let you go, I want to play the trailer. Do you mind while I keep you on?
Please.
Thank you.
He got arrested for the act of singing as an act of protest. At the same time, there were, in that summer, huge protests related to the death of George Floyd. Public health responded to this by condemning the anti-lockdown protests. But 1,000 or more public health leaders signed a petition saying that the George Floyd protests were appropriate.
According to this statement, systemic racism is an even bigger public health problem than COVID. It's all ideological. It has no bearing on science or reality.
In fact, Michael, I believe BLM stands for buying large mansions. They stole all that money too, didn't they?
They did indeed. Yes, that isn't actually a trailer. It's a lift from the film. It's a little excerpt. But I think that's another thing that some people have forgotten. We were not allowed to protest COVID or anything else, or even have outdoor. That little clip begins, for listeners who can't see it, with a little clip of someone being arrested for having an outdoor faith, religious service outdoors, and that's no good. He's arrested. But as Jay Bhattacharya says in that little clip, 1,000 health professionals said it's okay to go out and protest BLM because of racism is more important than COVID. I mean, and we listened, and people went along with that. I mean, it sounds patently ridiculous. I think if you went back 10 years and told people that this was going to happen, people would think it's crazy. And it was crazy, but it did happen.
You know what? Another documentary title, Stupidity is Contagious. You should consult Bhattacharya on this, because that's really our issue. If you bought this stuff, it's proof stupidity is contagious. I love your work. I love what you do with your mission and your company. So I want to thank you very much for this documentary and the past ones, but more importantly, making time to say hello to everybody at my show here. So thank you, Michael. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Great speaking to you.
Thank you. We'll be back with your calls and comments.
He's Shaun Thompson.
Hello, Mr. Thompson.
And this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
The following contains a celebrity impersonation. Mr. President, we're seeing reporting that air conditioning systems are failing as temperatures rise. What is your response?
I said, don't wait. People wait until the last second, then suddenly it's hot and nothing works. I understand this stuff probably better than anybody.
Mr. President, why hasn't the White House issued any guidance?
I gave perfect guidance. Call Air Right Heating and Cooling. That's the guidance. If people followed it, we wouldn't even be talking about this.
Sir, but homeowners have so many HVAC options.
They're not like Air Right. You've got some bad installers out there, some real bad hombres. I wouldn't let them near the White House. It would be a complete disaster.
Mr. President, there are reports of significant rebates on new systems. Can you confirm?
I've heard about them. A lot of people talking about them. If you miss out, you'd have to be really not so smart. Tremendous savings, let me tell you.
Visit Air Right Heating and Cooling at AIR-RITE.com. Air Right, doing it right since 1959.
Virago is fending off viruses and making America healthy again.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Huber. I'm one of the co-founders of Virago, the immune enhancement cocktail. Here are some of the testimonials of Virago users.
Hello, my name is Jim Thompson. I started taking Virago about 1.5 years ago. I was diagnosed with a heart condition. In fact, I was at the Cleveland Clinic applying for one of their trials. The bad news is that I was not accepted for the trial. The good news is that my heart was healthier than they wanted, and I believe that's a result of taking Virago. I can also attest that I have not had the flu or COVID since I started taking Virago. I could definitely attest to my satisfaction with staying healthy by taking Virago every day.
Boost your immune system with Virago. Order your bottle today. Visit myvirago.com. That's myvirago.com.
And use promo code IMMUNE to get 30% off.
That's myvirago.com. Use coupon code IMMUNE to save 30%. Virago and Maha, making America healthy again.
At Audi Morton Grove, your complete satisfaction means everything to us. As a family-owned dealership, we're dedicated to making every visit your best experience. Whether you're shopping for a new Audi, visiting for service, or simply taking a test drive, you'll always receive the personal attention and exceptional care you deserve. Visit us at 7000 Gulf Road in Morton Grove or online at AudiMortonGrove.com. McGrath Auto. Service, value, reputation. That's the power of McGrath.
Need life insurance but have diabetes, high blood pressure, or on anxiety meds? If you're a 50-year-old male, even porky, or with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of life insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. For affordable term life insurance, call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. 800-444-2013.
Making the switch to a new communications and IT company may seem like a big ordeal, but if you're not getting the reliable support, consistent internet, and secure solutions your company needs, meet Access One, your local Chicagoland IT experts. Access One has been powering Chicago businesses with secure, reliable IT solutions for over 30 years from our headquarters right here in the West Loop. Whether it's VoIP phones, dedicated internet, managed cybersecurity, cloud backups, or 24/7 support, Access One is here for you. Serving thousands of companies from Naperville to the North Shore, Access One is Chicago-owned and Chicago-run, a trusted IT partner for law firms, clinics, tech startups to manufacturers. We'll make the switch easier than you think. Let's talk. Call 800-804-8333 or visit accessoneInc.com. Rated top 5% in customer satisfaction and a Better Business Bureau A+ rated business. That's accessoneInc.com. Tech made personal, locally.
Time's up. The IRS isn't waiting. They're coming for your paycheck, your bank account, even your home. You ignored the letters. You thought it would go away. It won't. If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, you are already in the crosshairs of the IRS. Wage garnishments, bank levies, tax liens, they're not threats. They're next. But here's the truth. You still have a chance to fight back. This is Patrick Noon with PJN Tax Solutions Group. We are a local tax resolution firm located right here in St. Charles, Illinois. Don't call some 1-800-FIRM 10 states away. We're right here. Call us now at 630-415-5296. We don't do fluff. We get results. Call us now, 630-415-5296. That number again, 630-415-5296. Or just Google, I want the IRS off my ASS.
You know, there's a lot of focus on the RAG propaganda outlet, the Drudge Report, about Donald Trump's net worth. Why don't they talk about the net worth of illegal aliens? You want to talk about net worth tripling, quadrupling. Net worth. They're worth nothing. That's the difference. We'll discuss that, and I'll take your phone calls, 312-642-5600, after News with Mike Scott.
Good evening, Shaun. A clear, warm, and humid night ahead with a low of 77. The Supreme Court is striking down President Trump's effort to end birthright citizenship. The court ruling the president's executive order to eliminate the 14th Amendment's guarantee was unlawful. The court also upholding bans on transgender athletes in girls and women's sports nationwide. Here's Fox's Shannon Bream at the court.
All of them support this decision, at least in part. From the majority opinion, it says sports are highly competitive and generally zero-sum. At almost every turn, someone wins and someone loses. They go on to say this, like every student who earns an athletic scholarship takes that opportunity away from another student and so on.
Authorities continue investigating after a CTA worker was killed in a shooting on the far south side. Police say Thomas Kevin Barlow was shot and killed yesterday during a carjacking in the 9900 block of South State. No arrests have been made. The news is a service of rockauto.com. Grinding and squealing? There's signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need at Rock Auto. Your next news update is at 7. Continuous news, traffic, and weather coverage at 560theanswer.com. And up next, a check of the roads with Jill Urchak.
On the outbound Bishop Ford at 130th, watch out for an accident in the center lane. That slows down from 115th. Outbound Edens is clear. The Kennedy 30 minutes from the Janeburn interchange out to the airport. Eisenhower 38 minutes as well. Post Office 2390. Stevenson 35 to 355. Outbound Dan Ryan 25 with a stalled bus in the right lane at 47th Street. Delays remain along DuSable Lakeshore Drive either way. Northbound, a crash at Belbo blocking the left lane. Tri-State is busy as well in both directions. In the westbound Reagan, heavy into 47 from an earlier accident. Veterans Memorial Tollway is fine. This report is a service of Woodland Windows and Doors in Roselle. For over 52 years, Woodland has been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, featuring styles ranging from modern to traditional. Visit woodlandwindows.com to get started today. From the AM 560 Traffic Center, I'm Jill Urchak.
Now, your official weather forecast from the Air Right Heating and Cooling Weather Center.
Tonight will be mainly clear with very warm and humid conditions, reaching a low of 77. Wednesday is expected to be very hot and humid with hazy sunshine becoming breezy in the afternoon. Temperatures will climb to a high of 97. I'm meteorologist Jason Caterina on AM 560, The Answer.
Get the latest weather, traffic, and news updates online at 560theanswer.com.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at progressive.com.
Have you been watching gold and silver lately? Hard to ignore. Back in January of 2025, silver was under $30 an ounce, and now it's more than doubled. Again, not bad, right? Some experts say this bull market is just getting started. Others say it's a good time to take some money off the table. Either way, whether you're buying or selling, Fox Valley Coins in Naperville is the place to go. They stock large quantities of all the major bullion coins and bars. And here's what sets them apart. Unlike places that only pay melt value, Fox Valley Coins pays more for high-grade coins and scarcer dates. That's real money left in your pocket. They also buy scrap sterling flatware, jewelry, silver-plated items, and old proof sets. And they specialize in U.S. and foreign collector and investment coins and currency, both buying and selling. Fox Valley Coins, one light north of I-88 on Route 59 at Ferry Road in Naperville. Family owned with integrity since 1981.
We wouldn't be celebrating America 250 if it wasn't for a strong foundation set by the framers. Hamilton built America's financial foundation on sound money, later embodied by the gold standard. But we abandoned that discipline in 1971 and have seen inflation erode the dollar's value. What's the foundation of your saving? Is it gold or something that can be devalued? Hi, it's Dr. Ron Paul, and I encourage you to speak with my friends at Birch Gold Group about diversifying an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Learn more by requesting a free info kit on gold IRAs. Just text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Let Birch Gold help you build your foundation with gold. Text the word SHELTER to the number 989898. Text SHELTER to 989898.
You need a construction company, but who?
Call Croscom.
A construction company you can trust that shares your Christian and conservative values. For decades, Croscom has been doing work in Chicagoland, Northwest Indiana, and Wisconsin. Roofs, siding, windows, doors, gutters, basically everything for your home or business, even solar. Quality work and professional services that make you feel great about your decision to work with Croscom.
Call Croscom.
630-871-5500. Give them a chance to earn your business. If your repairs are due to storm, fire, or flood damage, you need to
call Croscom.
They're licensed public adjusters. They work for you, not the insurance company. Croscom will work to get you the money you deserve, the maximum payout. They know the insurance companies and how to deal with them. They win for you.
Call Croscom.
Croscom Construction and Public Adjusters.
This is Dan Lights with Croscom. You can trust us with your home or business for high quality work and fair prices. It's the only way we do business.
630-871-5500. CroscomPublicAdjusters.com.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios.
This hour of The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. Inherited a coin collection? Sell to global bidders for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Stop beating on that piano, squirrel. Talented bastard that you are.
But it was temporary. It was supposed to be temporary. She knew it was temporary. What did Biden do, the Biden administration do, in its last year in office, Stephen?
Well, so first of all, there you see that throwback from Janet Napolitano, who said there's an earthquake in Haiti, which, by the way, is total BS that we have TPS for earthquakes. But put that aside. There's an earthquake in Haiti, so she's announcing TPS for a few months while they're recovering from an earthquake. That was in 2010, 15 years ago. Then the Biden administration, in its last year, extends TPS to every single illegal alien from Haiti while they are flying them en masse into Springfield, Ohio, across the Midwest. It was a formal policy of replacing the communities that lived in, settled, and sustained these communities for generations. It was one of the most heinous things this government has ever done. And yes, under President Trump, let me be very clear. The illegal alien Haitians are going back to Haiti. They can build their country there.
Fantastic. So we offset the already scandal that is the illegal aliens. And in Democrat areas called sanctuary states and cities, you've been paying for them anyway.
A campaign on universal health care. We're delivering that. We are implementing our ideals. We are manifesting this principle, this fundamental.
It's a manifestation of an implementation, Squirrel. You understand? Ignore the fact that he has bankrupted a state. When he was elected, had a surplus, now a deficit of billions and billions and billions of dollars.
Mental notion that so many of us have been preaching for years and years and years. Universal health care for all, regardless of pre-existing condition, regardless of the ability to pay, and regardless of your immigration status. If you care not just about values and principles of morality, but if your only values and principles are advanced.
You know, it's a funny thing, morality. Who exactly are you paying for? These are the wretched. These are the scoundrels. These are the heroin addicts, drug addicts, and other forms of wasted life. Look at it this way. We've been doing it domestically. Here are a couple of Chicago Public School honor roll students that decided to tear up a CBS News van for no apparent reason other than it was there.
The good news is that the crew was unharmed. And while the Chicago Police Department has not confirmed this, CBS Chicago is saying that 3 men were arrested in Brighton Park in connection with this incident. Apparently.
So they're men. When you catch them and they're in the middle of a crime, they're just kids when they're taking over your streets.
After some sort of police chase. Now, a live truck for CBS Chicago did remain parked on Solidarity Drive near the Adler Planetarium into the early hours of this evening. Its windshield smashed. Off to the side, surrounded by police tape, was the news crew's equipment, a camera and tripod, everything that they needed to go live during their 4 o'clock show, when police say that an undetermined number of men in a white truck got out and...
Punks! They weren't men. Chicago Public School students, scumbags, lowlifes that society pays $33,000 a year so you can pretend they go to school. And when you look at the other ramifications, rarely do you get a name of somebody who's been a victim of these wildings. But this particular one was upsetting on a multitude of levels, mainly because the guy who they killed was a decent, hard-working guy. And you may not know his name, aside from this show and maybe a newscast or two, but you should, to put a face on the victims of the people society pays for their rent, for their food, for their miseducation. How do you quantify how much society paid for one of the murderers of this decent Chicagoan?
Thomas Kevin Barlow, everybody knew him as Kevin. He spent 18 years working for the CTA, a job that he loved, working as a switch worker for the Transit Authority. It was while he was working in his dream job that he stepped outside and was shot and killed. Family and friends describe him as someone that went out of his way to be in front of, to call the people that he loved.
Lost a very good brother today.
Percy Greenwood has known Kevin Barlow for decades.
Kevin is one of those guys that give you faith and friendship again. You know, he's going to always reach out to you. He's going to always make sure you're okay.
Barlow was 57 years old and a father to an adult daughter. He was doing the job he loved, working as a switch operator for CTA. Someone shot and killed him outside the rail yard.
You take a person down, 99th place in state, a male that's laying in the street, unknown if he's breathing or not.
You know what his crime was, Squirrel, or what he was killed for? He had a nice car. He had a nice car when he got out of work. Chicago Public School student, graduate, maybe not, dropout, who the frack knows. But another recipient of socialism and welfare killed him because he had a nice car. That's what socialism finances. That's what $33,000 a year is used to educate. Murderers, not guns, don't kill people. Scumbags do. Democrats. John Piatone.
Shaun, until Trump goes in and does away with all the theocrats in Iran, this is never going to stop. I am military. It's got to stop. He already whacked almost all of them. We need to whack all of them. Iran, when I grew up, was a very beautiful place. All the theocrats and the higher level military need to go. End of story.
Well, it's a cultist
Thank
of a
you.
different thing, and you're talking about a Carthaginian peace, and that's fine for foreign policy, but never get too frazzled. I understand that people are thinking that Iran is important. What's the GDP of Iran, Squirrel? Do you know? Less than half the revenue of Walmart. So if he's killing the theocracy of which people allow a cult to run their area, that's interesting because you could just cut him off from financing, which ironically is the same answer for the theocracies that run our Democrat areas. After all, these aren't policies. This is a religion of some sorts. It's a religion where you pretend socialism is a financial plan or a policy rather than what it really is. It's a cult. And the people who support American Democrats are just as brainwashed as the Islamo-Nazis who support Iranian theocrats, pretending to be imams. And supreme leaders. How is the supreme leader from Iran any different than Pritzker or Newsom? Oh, you're right, Squirrel, the costume. And maybe soap. 312-642-5600.
He believes in freedom, capitalism, and individual liberty. And because of that, he's become an enemy of the state. He's Shaun Thompson, and this is the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm Ken Mariotti, owner of Woodland Windows and Doors, a third-generation family-owned business since 1969. We know you're bombarded by choices when shopping for new windows or doors, so we're inviting you to experience the Woodland difference. For decades, we have been transforming living spaces with Marvin Windows, a fifth-generation family business. Marvin replacement windows have been known to increase the warmth of your cold rooms by 10 degrees. Think about that, 10 degrees warmer. When you welcome Woodland into your home, you will get a product expert to transform your living spaces, full-time, dedicated professional installers that you can trust in your home, along with the best products like Marvin. These are the reasons we're proud of our 5-star reviews and family legacy. No gimmicks, no pressure, and upfront pricing are why Woodland Windows and Doors is your trusted window and door expert in Chicagoland. Visit woodlandwindows.com to book your free in-home expert consultation. That's woodlandwindows.com or stop by our showroom at the corner of Lake and Geary in Roselle.
Shaun Thompson here. Recently, someone asked me, what is it that I love most about being on AM 560 The Answer? I didn't hesitate. I love the fact that AM 560 is a family. You, the listeners, our advertisers, and all of us who are on air make up one big family in a very bad place. We look out for each other because we share the same values. And so many of our advertisers are small and medium businesses. They're owners who work very hard, they play by the rules, they pay their taxes, they make their communities even stronger. If that describes you and you own or operate a business, then I want to invite you to consider working with AM 560 to market your business. If you want to reach AM 560 family members, whether through radio, live events, or digital marketing, then call Amy O'Toole. She's a wonderful girl. She's in charge of advertising around here. Call her at 847-472-8925. That's 847-472-8925. Find out how you can become part of the AM 560 family. Together, our family can truly help make America great again.
At Signature Bank, going the distance for business banking customers is what we do every day. We understand that business owners have a strategic mission, a drive to succeed, a plan for growth, and don't have time to wait for a bank to respond. With Signature Bank, you not only have a banking partner that has roots right here in Chicago, but our decisions are made locally too. Signature Bank knows that when you have a question or problem about your business, you want answers. You need someone who will pick up the phone or respond to your text. You need someone who is always there for you. That's Signature Bank. We are a team that wants to get to know you and your business. Want to be Signature Bank's next success story? Give us a call today at 773-467-5630 or visit us online at signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560. The Answer.
There's a reason that these policies are put forward, not because they work or they're altruistic. The failure and the flaw in communism, Marxism, socialism, or American Democrat policy is that ultimately the math is the math. So when these scams like Gavin Newsom and illegal aliens and health care and schools, when it fails, what do? You use that failure as a weapon against the decent, against the overachievers, against the people who do nothing but work and provide goods and services people love.
It's time for a national billionaires tax and a new social contract. Think about this. Just 10% of people, 10% of people in this country own 2/3 of the wealth.
You know, that's fascinating. And who are they? They demonize them constantly, whether they create things that everybody uses or they change the world for the better. They always demonize. But what does it take to be one? Do you think a Democrat could? Of course not.
First is you need to work, depending upon how well you want to do, and particularly if you're starting a company, you need to work super hard. So what does super hard mean? Well, when my brother and I were starting our first company, instead of getting an apartment, we just rented a small office and we slept on the couch. And we showered at the YMCA. And we're so hot up, we had just one computer. So the website was up during the day, and I was coding at night, 7 days a week, all the time. And I sort of briefly had a girlfriend in that period, and in order to be with me, she had to sleep in the office. So work hard, every waking hour. That's the thing I would say, particularly if you're starting a company.
Well, there's another way you can get rich. Live in mansions. Never pay taxes. Live the lifestyle equivalent of a billionaire. You know what that is, Squirrel? Sell socialism, but become a politician. That's how you do it. Whether it's Mondomny in New York, who lives in a mansion with a massive security team, endless expenses, or it's that simpleton bust-out fraud in Shirakistan. Or, if you go to the national level, well then, the more bull dung you can sell at one time, the more money you get to steal from your own campaign, like AOC, who was caught frauding millions of dollars from her campaign coffers. And when the investigation went down, you know what she did, Squirrel? She became engaged to her campaign manager.
Because of these data centers, a lot of people's electricity bills are going up, and now your ability to buy laptops, computers, iPads, electronics in general is going to go up because the data centers are sucking up all of our own industrial supply. And so,
do you think that this whore knows that computers came out, they were 1,000 times the price they are today? That through innovation, through companies reinvesting, the prices come down where every simpleton, moron, and even illegal aliens get computers. Most of the welfare roaches get them for nothing. And those are the ones that vote for this imbecile.
So, you know, we're paying in a lot of ways. We are subsidizing the development of a lot of these pieces of...
You know what she calls a subsidy, Squirrel? Is when a company is incentivized to use its own money for its own R&D. That's somehow a subsidy. But all the real subsidies that exist in the green energy boondoggle, she gets a piece of. They're easy to defeat, Squirrel. They don't stand on any fact. They stand on promises. Well, they become multi-millionaires and never pay taxes.
These AI data centers.
Is there something that Congress, you think, should do to step in and try to thwart some of these, what could be more and more price increases for consumers when it comes to these data centers?
Absolutely. I think we need to be taking a look at the supplies in these markets. And
you mean like a king or a Nazi or a commie? And take it, because that's what this idea is. Theft of other people's property. That's all it is. It's not a new version of capitalism. It's an old example of Nazism, communism, fascism, or the monarchy as kings. Would that make her a princess or just a court jester?
Making sure that everyday people aren't paying the price over and over and over again for the privatized profits of these AI companies. I mean,
what about the profits of government? What about fracking water or electricity or the misuse of taxes? What about every place you govern, you dizzy bimbo?
No, but I think we have to understand that people do not believe that this version of capitalism has worked. And
shut your asshole. Whoever's cutting your hair is a comedian. Morons. Another multimillionaire. Never worked a day in his life, like every other Democrat politician. We'll be back in 21, Squirrel.
Mike Lindell and the MyPillow employees want to thank you for your great